That's not. First off, you're going to demonetize our stream if you say the H word. And second,
You showed a picture of him.
No, it's not Hitler. It's
like
Charlie Chaplin in the 1939 classic, The Great Dictator, in which he was making fun of satire, the rise of fascism in the West. Now, nobody knew how bad he was going to be, and that's why the speech is so prophetic. If you have not seen Charlie Chaplin's speech in The Great Dictator, you need to watch it. It's one of the greatest political commentaries of all time in the need of men to unite. I mean, it's still gets me this day, what, 50, 60, 70 now?
People agree,
80
man.
years later.
People agree. They love the intro. Like I said, great job, man. Just
Okay,
because
cool.
I'm not a fan. It doesn't mean anything, okay? I'm not, like I say this all the time. I'm not a fan of pickles. I know people who literally put them on everything. I'm not saying they're dumb or wrong. I just don't like them. So that's my point.
Cool.
Anyway, dude, so we want to talk. Sorry, guys. Move my chair. We want to talk about today because Cardin was gone for a few days, but still following from where he was. Same thing. I was following from where I was. And it was a really big week for Andrew Yang, guys.
Huge week.
It's kind of one of those things where you, hey, dude, man, the Dan loved him, man. I told you. You look over the last 7 days. 7 days ago today, Andrew Yang had not qualified for the fall debates. He had not made his recent trip to Iowa, where he gave a lot of big speeches. He had not appeared on the H3H3 podcast, and he had not received what appears to be potentially an endorsement from Mr. Elon Musk. So, Elon Musk. I'm sorry, guys.
You keep talking about Ellen DeGeneres and Elon Musk, and you keep accidentally saying Elon Musk.
Like I said, I get names wrong all the time. However,
talk about a power couple.
Yeah.
Ellen and Elon Musk.
Well, that's all I was going to say, actually. That's where Yang needs to go next. We need to get Yang on Ellen.
Okay.
Get him on the couch.
Wait, but didn't she announce she's retiring?
Oh, gotta go quick, man. you gotta move. Zach, if you're out there, move quick on that one, man.
In the outro of Ellen at the end of her show, just be like, "Hey, I'm here. Google me.
Hey, if Rich Evans from Red Letter Media can get on Ellen, Andrew Yang can get on Ellen. So.
Oh wow, interesting. Okay,
That's
I gotta turn on a light
fascinating
behind
story.
me. So go to you.
Okay. So guys, howdy. So there's a couple things we wanted to talk about in particular. So I guess I don't know where you want to start on this one. We could start. I guess we'll start with the most recent news. For anyone who hadn't heard, I'll throw it up on the stream so you guys can get a better look at it. But Mr. Elon Musk, recently, I'm talking about 4 hours ago, published a tweet. Not that one. Where he seemingly came out in support of Andrew Yang. I mean, I'm not mincing words here when I say he literally said, "I support Yang" on Twitter. Now, people have said many things about, like, well, do they support what he said in the tweet that's being quoted by Dan Carlin from Hardcore History? Is saying I support Yang in general. I mean, it's a matter of, to be just like a nitpicker, hair splitter, 100% frank here. He doesn't actually say Andrew Yang in tell. He just says, I support Yang. What does that mean? But I like a lot of you guys, I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. It seems like he basically said that I support Andrew Yang. I'm assuming for president, right? Like, I don't know what else you would support him for, right? I'm assuming he means president. Like, I don't know what else he would say I support him for.
Yeah.
But talk about big endorsements, man. I mean, Elon Musk, we were looking at this earlier. Elon Musk's 27 million Twitter followers. If anyone's got the better number on this, dude, he's in like the top 13, 14 accounts on the platform, probably. I mean, that's hyperbolic, but Donald Trump's at 57 million. And cause I know, like, for example, AOC is a very popular person on Twitter. She has like 4 million followers. Like, getting 1 million followers on Twitter is no big deal, no joke. So, and while we're on the topic of Elon Musk, guys, hold on, let me better position this for you guys. What a awesome avatar. You guys, people always say, man, like, don't underestimate how important avatars are to your Twitter growth. Dude, don't underestimate this man right here, Mid-Valley Barn, Mid-Valley Bank himself, cowboy hat, baseball hat. Looks like it has PSP, actually. It doesn't.
It's pretty epic right there.
But yeah, so that is something I definitely wanted to highlight while we're talking about Elon Musk and Andrew. Anyway, though, oh man, well, give me 1 second, guys. I want to pull up a little bit more of that Twitter thread. Yeah, he said a few other things in that Twitter thread that was kind of interesting. One I just really want to highlight because it makes me laugh. Sorry, but it does. And aside from that, yeah. So I'm looking for it if you want to.
So I'm loving what M. Santo says. Yang will win. I love your positivity, brother. He's the people's choice. Polls show that he's definitely the people that know him's choice.
Yeah, well, the people.
Yeah, just like Trump, the internet will find a way. I absolutely love that. It reminds me of Goldblum, I believe is his name.
Of course.
In Jurassic Park.
His name's Jeff, but.
It's Jeff Goldblum, yeah. And he says, life will find a way. and then that was a horrible impression.
Yeah.
Gosh, my impressions are
That
horrible.
wasn't Jeff, dude.
And but anyway, you guys get the point that the internet will find a way. It is finding a way, and the big question is whether or not the DNC and their shenanigans are going to prevent a bona fide winner character over an establishment character. Cody says one of the most powerful motifs in the world is us against the world. But, you know, to a certain extent, I really think that's what it's come down to. I was actually in Utah for a convention earlier this week. And they'd flown me up there. We went to the Utah Valley Convention Center. It was pretty cool. And I actually reached out to the Utah Yang gang. Couldn't get back to any of them. Get back from any of them. I guess they're not on Facebook. They've already moved on past that. That's too boomer, you know. But I did catch up with the BYU Democrats. And apparently they're big Tulsi fans, but they also love Yang as well.
That's hilarious. Of course they're Tulsi fans.
Yeah.
Of course they're like it always
maybe there's so
cracks
many
me up.
Hawaiian Mormons.
No, it's not even
You
that.
know?
It's just people that tend to be more conservative love Tulsi Gabbard because she comes across. You look at more of a policy, and not really, but the stuff they talk about her, she comes across more conservative. Like, for example, a Blaze poll on Twitter, Glenn Beck's Blaze poll on Twitter. Tulsi Gabbard is the number one candidate. Like,
Well, Gavin McInnes also, when he was on the Blaze interviewing with Glenn Beck, it was hilarious because he kind of lambasted Glenn Beck for not having supported him during the Proud Boys misinformation debacle. And at the same time, he also said, okay, so who's your favorite person on the left? And Glenn Beck was like, what? No, what are you talking about? And he said, oh, come on. I mean, you know, hypothetically, if they were to win, who would you prefer to be the one winning? He's like, I don't like anyone. He says, what? You mean there's not one that you would rather win over any of them? And Glenn Beck sat there thinking, oh, okay, well, that's an interesting question. And then Gavin McInnes goes, Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, Gavin McInnes
but again, it's like
is a Tulsi Gabbard fan.
yeah, that's my point exactly. I am never surprised when anyone who's very right says I'm a Tulsi Gabbard fan.
Tulsi,
Like, yeah.
VP with Yang.
No.
VP ticket with
How
Yang.
about this? How about this? I know a lot of... Oh, by the way, someone just mentioned this in chat, guys. He was
Okay.
not joking around. So, we talked about this in our Iowa video. I believe it was over these days. This weekend, I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, perhaps? Iowa State Fair is going on. They're having the Des Moines Register annual political soapbox at the fair. Here's the thing I think is kind of funny. Iowa State Fair, excuse me. Let's look at the views. Now, obviously, 8 minutes ago, it's hard to get a lot of views. I can relate. But you go down to 1 day ago. And 1 day ago, we had speeches from Joe Biden. I was going to say Steve Bullock in that same kind of sense, but I can't. Joe Biden. And then you also had Steve Bullock, Julian Castro, John Delaney, Marianne Williamson, Tulsi Gabbard. All those people spoke. Look at the views, guys. Make sure it's framed right. Look at the views on Democrat Andrew Yang on the Register's political soapbox. This might be the power of thumbnails, where when you have a thumbnail with a person on it, it gets way more clicks than the same logo repeated.
True.
But still, I mean, the fact that it's 15,000 instead of 529.
Yeah, that's more than just a coincidence.
I don't know. Once again, he wins.
A big set of
He wins this battle every time. The YouTube. Someone pointed out CNN actually stripped down his closing statement off their YouTube channel. It's not.
Wait,
a lot of other candidates have it there. His is not on there. Last I checked, maybe they've updated it in a day or so. But last I checked, they pulled it down because it was making them look bad. I don't know.
Okay, I want to give some shout outs to people in the chat. Man the Dan says, "Aw, dude, love the Charlie Chaplin." Thank you, Man the Dan.
Told you, people like it, dude.
Okay,
hold on.
I'm gonna throw Cody under the bus here. He thought it was gonna be a dud, and it ended up being a success.
Say that. I only got to cut you off one reason.
Okay.
Oh, and of course, meme names, man. Zayasef, Budase, €2 donation. I support Problem Solver Politics. Awesome, man.
Oh,
Thank
€2.
you so much. And please let me know if I butchered your name. I probably did, but I hope I didn't.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Now here's one.
Shout outs, John Delaney.
So Elon is Yang Gang. Looks like the Oracle had some free time on his hands the past few days. Let's go. OMG, love the intro. And then Zanzi says, oh no, the man has gotten to them. To us? Or to the Yang Gang?
The man.
Or to Delaney? I don't know. You have to clarify your
let me know
position
Delaney
there,
in
Zanzi.
Chat.
You know.
Dude, okay, I mean, I don't like picking favorites. Dude, whoever has this John Delaney 2020 account, I think they have it on Twitter too, just cracks me up, dude. John Delaney, man. What a candidate. What a candidate for president.
Love Dave Chappelle.
Seems like a cool guy.
Awesome.
I like the guy. But yeah, Iowa State Fair, you can meet with Democratic candidate during the day and then go out. Oh, was it Slipknot headlining the Iowa State Fair this weekend?
And Kixart is making...
oh, cool. He's stationed overseas. Awesome, man.
Yeah, Kixart is making a bunch of memes supporting Andrew Yang.
Hey, speaking of memes, dude. Speaking of memes, ladies and gentlemen, we had a very big meme.
That's a perfect segue right there.
Very big meme come out.
Is it his first official meme? Is this Andrew Yang's first official meme?
I tweeted out, this is the first shot of the Yang-Trump meme war 2020. Let me guys know if I'm wrong. I believe this is the first official campaign shot across the bow for the upcoming meme war between the Yang and the Trump campaign. Like we were saying before, it's not just like Trump is evil. It's like my opponent, I'm better than him. You want the I'm better than them, not they're bad. It's like, what about you, man? He's just saying, look, there's the light and the dark. I'm the light, he's the dark. Okay, cool. I appreciate that a lot better than just saying you're bad. It's like, well, pure ad hominem's okay, I guess, but what about you? He's saying I'm the Yang. Well, also, I like that.
This is intelligent humor.
Or he's the Yang to the
I'm very sensitive to the idiocy of orange man bad syndrome. I just hate it. I think it's tribalistic, and I understand that sometimes I'm hypocritical because I will make tribalistic comments myself. I understand it's a wild hypocrisy of mine.
Sometimes.
Okay? Sometimes, yes. Okay, so mea culpa. Right now, I fully confess to being tribalistic because I have been damaged myself by bad policies by these people.
The government. Bad policies by the government.
I say those people.
I know,
over
it's
there.
ridiculous.
And I dehumanize them.
Yes.
And I think that they should be punished.
It's crazy. So, no. It's crazy. They did it to you. They do it to you. They turn us on each other. It's like excuse me?
No,
the government did this, not us.
Well, in California, the government's controlled by Democrats. So anyway,
who cares who controls the government? It's the government doing it. They passed the policy. It's like people say, "Oh, the House has to do something." Yeah, the government should do something. I'm Canadian. I witnessed 2016 meme war. Yang wins. Thank you, M. Santo. $2 Canadian. Awesome. Thank you, man.
Rock on. So, thank you very much, M. Santo. So here's what I have to say: is even though I admit it's a wild hypocrisy of mine, I'm getting better at it. Being friends with you, Cody, has definitely helped me. But also, I think maturity has. At the same time, I love humor, okay? And this kind of stuff I don't mind because it's not orange man bad. It's hilarious. It's intelligent. It's a pun.
Competitive.
And it's competitive. See, there's a difference. And I wish the right and the left would both recognize this. You can make fun of the looks of Donald Trump all day long. You can make fun of his hilarious mannerisms. I want people to make fun of those mannerisms. One of my favorite comedic pieces I ever saw out there was actually somebody had rehashed Donald Trump's lines into Darth Vader because of the way he talks. And it was so hilarious that even as a registered Republican who voted for Donald Trump, you can laugh at that, okay? I love the making fun of his comb over, making fun of his size, the fact that he said that he has huge hands. These are all hilarious, and they're all full game, and they're expected as part of the political conversation. It's just when you start getting into this cycle like orange man bad, nothing good can happen from the White House for 4 years, that it just kinds of being psychosis. This isn't psychosis. This is freaking hilarious. I love this. This is so funny.
Yeah, it's just good humor, you know?
I would like to see him come out with more.
I guarantee you he will if this gets any traction. Like, why not, right? I think he will. That's my thoughts. We'll see more from Yang. Let me know, guys, in the chat if you think that Yang will. I don't know. He's got to keep it up, right? It's good. I think it worked.
So Andrew Holman brought up a really good point. He says Tom Steyer already has 3 polls locked in for the debate WTF.
Yes, he does.
Now, there's an orange man bad candidate that is going to be a DOA candidate if he can't figure out
He's already polling ahead of Tulsi Gabbard and a bunch of other people. Just throwing that out there. He is. Better or for worse. Is he buying his way into the stage? More than likely.
I wouldn't say buying his way. I'd say buying advertising and then advertising his way onto the stage.
He's probably, there we go, right? He's probably spending $500 to $600 to get a single $1 donation right now. Love it, dude.
Shut up, really?
Love American politics. Oh, of course. And Jay actually was joking about it in a recent appearance. He's like, we always joke on our campaign. Because, dude, he doesn't care about the physical dollar. He cares about the donor, unique donor for donor count moving forward to debates. He doesn't care how much money it costs him. I need 130,000 donors. So it's going to cost me $4 million? So be it. I'm a billionaire.
Dude,
right? He's a billionaire? I think he's a billionaire. With a B, so you can do it.
Who's the head of the DNC? Come on, Perez. What's his name? Tim Perez?
I don't know. Maybe changes, right? I don't know.
I can't remember. But if I were the head of the DNC right now, okay, you're going to have to look that up and fact check me, help me out on his first name. No matter how much I wanted to beat Trump, if, for example, I'm playing, let's just say the San Francisco 49ers, and they have this really good...
the head of the DNC is actually Seema Nanda, has been since July of last year.
Yeah. who's the strategist that's always appearing on Fox News?
There we go. That was the question. Fox News, DNC, talking head to be berated. I don't know.
No, because they always have the woman who's in charge of the RNC, and then they always have
anyway.
somebody.
Do you want to get back to talking about Andrew Yang?
Yeah.
In the week.
It was. I worry Tom Steyer getting on the stage is just going to, with his personality, he's going to inundate the conversation with nothing but interruptions about Donald Trump. He's a guy that I think would do amazingly well in the debate format where intelligence isn't necessary, but dogma is necessary. And it will only drown out any opportunity that Andrew Yang has to talk math. When he talks math, he does well. Look at him in Iowa.
Dude, but Tom Steyer's a joke candidate. Don't care. It just shows how stupid this process is, that a guy like him could just spend a couple $100 million and get his way in the debates. Well, candidates busting their ass every single day trying to get there can't make it because, Tom Steyer, he's the man from the television ads. It's ridiculous. Anyway, though.
Yeah.
I wanted to get back to the topic of what, guys, if anyone just joining, if you haven't been following the news, it's been a massive week for Andrew Yang. Actually, it has been a very big week for Andrew Yang. A lot of time in Iowa. He hits his 4th qualifying poll. I believe this was it an Iowa poll? I feel dumb for forgetting, but it was a state poll, early state poll. So he hit his 4th poll, qualified for both the 3rd and 4th debate. So a lot of big stuff happened. And I want to highlight this clip. Now, Carden, if you could do me a favor.
Yeah, what?
And just let the clip play out for like 90 seconds before.
Well, but don't we have to interject once every 30 seconds so the algorithms don't copyright strike up?
No, this is a clip from a appearance he made. By the way, Thomas Person, what should Yang consider when picking a VP? I keep hearing Tulsi thrown out there, but I've heard people wouldn't vote for a ticket with Tulsi.
What? I've heard absolutely the opposite.
No, but hold on. Like, if I'm a Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren supporter, am I going to vote for Yang and Tulsi? You know what I mean? Like, can you give me one? Can you throw me a bone and give me one of those big mainstream people that I'm fans of in the race? I think that's more the issue. We've talked before that if you're talking about a VP in particular, right? Like, the correct order would be Tulsi Commander in Chief, Yang VP. However, the way the polls and stuff are working out, it doesn't look like that's how it would work. So I definitely see why I'm going to push back and saying Tulsi. That would never win with Yang. I think, like, temperament-wise, I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, Carden. You can tell me what you think. I think as far as, like, who we think would be the person that, like, yes, like, the 2 Democrats that probably have the best temperament moving forward are probably Tulsi and Yang together. But you have to think strategy larger, you know?
Temperament for what? Okay, temperament
Marcellus Wiley, it's true.
Temperament for vilifying Donald Trump and just endlessly saying anti-Trump stuff that will turn off the middle ground.
There's still a Democratic Party with voters who like the party, and they're going to want to see one of their own on the ticket.
But Andrew Yang has the best temperament for possibly attracting the middle ground that you need. Every election has 1/3 of people that will vote for you no matter what you say, good or bad. Then 1/3 of people that won't vote for you no matter what you say, good or bad. And there's this middle ground called the independents who don't mind voting for a Democrat one election, don't mind voting for a Republican the next election. If they like Rand Paul, they'll vote Libertarian in the 3rd election, okay? Their votes are fluid, okay? And if you just come at them with a bunch of orange man bad and they're in a town where Donald Trump's policies actually helped, you're just going to turn them off. Whereas if you can come at them kindly and just say, hey, I've got better ideas even for you, then all of a sudden you're going to get votes. So Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard have that temperament. There's not another single person on that stage, maybe besides John Delaney, that does.
Okay, well, first of all, shout out to Peter R. $10 donation. It's actually happening. People in the public no longer see Yang as the quirky UBI guy, but as a solution to Trump while actually solving the problems Dems ignore.
That's a good observation. That's a great point.
I just do want to push back on you a little bit, man. Not every single candidate's only Trump hating. I think if you, depending on the media you consume, it might appear that way, but they also say things that don't get picked up by the media where they talk policy. That does happen all the time.
Okay.
Oh, you're right.
Watch the Rational National. Everyone's Trump hating. Okay, watch CNN. 90% of their coverage is Trump hating.
Anchors.
Watch Secular Talk with Kyle Kulinski. Watch TYT.
Hold on. That's nonsense. You're not even hearing what I'm saying. The actual politicians running, like Elizabeth Warren, yes, she says, I believe his white supremacists, but she also says, here's the policies I want to put forward to help the country. These people have policies, not all as many as Yang, but you can't just say every single one says what I see them see on Fox News clips. Like, dude, these people still have policies they believe in. I believe in Yang's over theirs, but they still are politicians, man. They aren't all just running on Trump bad. They're running on other stuff as well. You just don't hear it as much because who cares that Cory Booker sat down and laid out his fiscal policy? Remember Kamala Harris when she got burned? It's a policy, But she put forward that we'll do student loan forgiveness for like, you get student loan forgiveness if you open a Payless in this block in this city and it survives 12 years and you pay 40 employees $15 an hour for 8 months. Like, you know what I mean? It was ridiculous specific, but they do have policy, dude. Just don't, like you said, you always say you don't like people unfairly represent Donald Trump. Well, don't unfairly represent Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders either. I don't love them, but they aren't.
Look, Zanzi thinks I'm
idiots.
right. All right, Zanzi thinks I'm
Okay,
right.
cool.
No, I'm
Thank
just
you.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thank you for that.
Hey,
No, but-
John Delaney just checked in. John Delaney 2020 says,
dude, he's
yes,
been here all
it is
day,
happening.
Mr. Delaney, my man Delaney. Hold up, though.
Thank you, Delaney.
This is something I want to show you. And like I said, if you could do me a favor and just not, I know what you want to jump to and say immediately. Just listen to the clip.
Sorry, that's my old terrestrial radio host.
No, but listen to the clip. Just listen to the clip. This is a really powerful. Guys, I'm going to play this thing for a minute. A lot of you guys have seen this. A lot of you guys have sent this to me. And I want to play it and just get you guys' initial reaction. And I'm not going to lie. It's a kind of a powerful clip. I think this is the kind of stuff that moves the needle for Andrew Yang a lot. So this was, I believe, in Iowa at the Everytown for Gun Safety Summit. Something along those lines, not the official title. Anyway, guys, just check this out. It's a really, really interesting video clip. It's about a few minutes long, so we'll listen to it.
My beautiful 4-year-old daughter, Dayla, was struck by a stray bullet March 2011. My son, my daughter's twin brother, witnessed what happened that day.
Okay.
She died 2 days later. Firearms are the second leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the U.S.
True.
But 4.6 million American children live in homes with at least one gun that is loaded and unlocked. And hundreds of them gain access to a gun and unintentionally shoot themselves or someone else every year. As president, how would you address unintentional shootings by children?
Thank you for that. Can I give you a hug? Is that be appropriate?
That's good.
Keep watching, dude. Keep watching. This is the kind of stuff that separates Yang, dude. This is the kind of stuff that separates us from other candidates.
I have a 6 and 3-year-old boy. I was imagining.
Oh, this is impactful.
I was imagining it was one of them that got shot, and the other saw it.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. The biggest downside of running for president for me has been that I don't get to see my family very much. So I get pictures, I FaceTime, I see pictures of my boys, and just that scene that you described, I'm sorry, it's like very, very affecting. You're right that when there's a gun in the household, you're more likely to have a child get shot or the owner get shot than to kill, let's say, an intruder into the house. Those are just numbers. Those are just the facts. So one of the things we can do, and it's very hard to get into Americans' houses where all of these guns are, but if we can convince Americans that personalized guns are a good idea, then again, if the child gets a hold of the gun, then they can't do anything with it. Then it just becomes a very heavy, expensive prop. And that's something that we can push. One of my proposals is to actually help gun owners upgrade their guns to personalized guns free of
This is where it
charge.
gets more into policy stuff.
Yeah.
Because
We
if we can do that, then again, if you're a gun owner, and gun owners are parents, gun owners understand that, and some of them are concerned. So if you say, hey, we'll upgrade your guns for free, when we can do that, like you can upgrade the guns for free, and that would help make kids safer in our homes. I'm so sorry you had to, and that story should not be possible. I'm so sorry.
So that was it. The one thing I just want to get really quick, I want to get your reaction on. I'm actually really fascinated in what your reaction is. But one thing I want to get really quick, guys, is whenever I see any candidate crying on stage, I always kind of go through the kind of like the eye test of like,
is this rehearsed?
But dude, like that's what happens when something hits you emotionally. Like the way he could not actually say the words that were choking him up, dude. It's the kind of stuff where you see Andrew Yang acting like a human being all the time, and at a certain point you have to just say maybe he is just a regular human being and he actually has good ideas and he cares about people. I don't know, but again, I'm interested. What was your reaction to it, man?
Oh gosh, man.
Because I know you have kids. I'm not a father.
Yeah,
you are a
no,
father.
oh gosh, I was holding my daughter when she stopped breathing. I mean, she had an 85% chance of death. according to some people, when fighting cancer. And so I have friends who have lost their children, and oh gosh, you didn't see. Good thing the screen wasn't on me 30 seconds ago when he was talking about that, because I was I was a mess over here. But this is one of those things where I love it. I love it that he feels and that he emotes and that he is connected that way. Millennials, we crave authenticity, and simultaneously it makes me feel like, okay, this guy's in my corner. He's not just in it for himself if he is capable of this. Okay. At the same time, I wouldn't want that to drive hasty decision making, especially when messing around with constitutional right.
He had a pretty good answer though.
Without relitigating his proposals on gun control. Yeah, I don't have a problem with out of the box thinking when it comes to gun control, because I don't wish there were less guns. I wish there was more training. I don't wish there was less firearms. I wish there was more responsibility. And that's always been my approach. I believe that the final backstop of governmental tyranny is people allowed to speak freely politically. Hold on, let me finish before you start doing your anti-Cardin thing.
No, it's like I'm just saying I don't want to talk about gun control again.
I know I'm not, but I'm just saying I'm talking about Andrew Yang here. The final backstop between the ultimate foolproof, whatever you want to call it, safety net of a people from its government is freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. And those rights get really, really messy because the speech people give, words are deeds, okay? And I don't believe that words are violence themselves, but they are deeds. And I've seen how much words can hurt in such a way that sometimes you almost think, gosh, I wish people didn't have that much power. And then you see how guns can hurt. And you just wish there wasn't something that could be used so irresponsibly there. If not that necessity and that necessary backstop to governmental tyranny, but there has to be a way that is outside of this stupid leftist versus conservative, don't touch my guns versus outlaw all guns dichotomy we're in. And I actually like Andrew Yang's idea of having personal. Obviously, he's not a gun guy, so he doesn't see how really virtually impossible to initiate that is. Without making it a from this point forward piece of legislation, because obviously we're not going to take our 1765 musket that we have sitting on our wall and make it a personalized gun.
You don't want to get hit by a 1765 musket, man.
Yeah.
Shoot me with any gun they sell today, not one of those.
Yeah, or our blunderbuss. You're not even going to be able to do your take your previously manufactured gun from like your Mosin Nagant that you buy or anything like that. But I am okay. I'm actually okay. I'm okay with robust gun control as long as it is truly common sense and it's not registration and confiscation.
It's a regional issue for the most part. If you looked at a map of mass shootings, you'll notice parts of the country where they just don't really happen, and then parts of the very dense. Right? It's a regional issue.
Yeah, it oftentimes is a regional issue, and also it needs to be talked about in a way that's much more respectful than usually it is talked about. And Andrew Yang is one of the few people that I noticed talking about it respectfully. And he falls within the 7/8. He falls within the 7/8 threshold that I have. Ed Koch, I've said this before, I'll say it again. He famously said, if you agree with 7 out of 8 things that I have proposed for the city of New York City, come and vote with me on election day and we'll change this city for the better together. If you agree with 8 out of 8 things that I have proposed, then on election day you need to check yourself into a mental hospital, all right? So,
well, yeah, that's a tweet he kind of put out today.
Okay, what did he say?
I don't expect people to agree with me on everything. That would be odd. My main hope is that people trust that I'm trying to solve problems and about different approaches, particularly if the data drives in a particular direction, yada, yada. Changing one's mind
that's what attracts me, actually. Yeah. That's what attracts me.
Actually, what spurred the tweet from Elon Musk was this tweet originally.
Is that's what attracts me. I mean, it's well known I'm a registered Republican, okay? And I am, however, I'm not blind, okay? I have preferences, but I'm not blind.
By shout outs American Jobs Factory, dude. Daniel.
Oh, hey, what's up, Daniel? How you doing, my man?
He's in the tweet. I don't know if he's in chat or not. He's in the tweet. But still, either way, shout out.
Okay. I am I understand that we have a party system. 70% of political affiliation is the home that you grew up in, so on and so forth. And the Democrats are a reality of our society, and that there's so many good people in there. I have many, many dear friends that are Democrats. Now I'm friends with the BYU Democrats, for heaven's sakes, okay? So these people are great. They're beautiful. I would take a bullet for them. You know, and so, and we flip-flop every election who we choose. So I'm interested in having better Democrats in this world. I don't want to convert people to being Republican. I want to convert them into being better, more responsible, and informed Democrats. In this show, we have tons of Democrats that watch. I'm not interested in converting you. Dear Democrats, be Democrats. That is just fine. I just want you to be better, more well-informed Democrats that are knowledgeable about the impacts of the ideas or the legislation that you support, okay? And I am so much more comfortable with somebody across the aisle that says, hey, I understand there may be flaws in my reasoning and I'm open to new approaches, because I feel like I could deal with that person. Because at the end of the day, I want to deal. I don't want to change. I want to deal. And Andrew Yang is open to this. He's the only guy I know that's open. Because so far he's stayed away from orange man bad syndrome. You know what I'm saying? And this is really, I feel like I represent the exhausted majority in this. Okay? As somebody who's voted for 3 different parties within the past decade, okay, I know what the exhausted majority feels like. They just want solutions. And he's the only other guy that I have really heard in the recent past use the word problem solver more than once.
Consistently, yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's the only person that says, hey, I like math, I like stats, I want to use a PowerPoint presentation in the State of the Union address, and I'm kind of a problem solver. And just look at it. Look at our feed. You know, I would love it if you feel comfortable really fast, just like It Is What It Is says, parties suck, just move forward. I see so many people here saying, hey, I'm a nerd for Yang. Another guy said, hey, I'm a progressive Democrat for Yang. Another guy says, hey, dude, hardcore Trumpist, totally for Yang. To me, that is the measure of the efficacy of somebody's candidacy, not their identity, which is what the DNC is wrapped up in right now. Here he is coming out with ideas and hugging people. He just hugged a mother who lost a child. And
It's that stuff, dude. Hold up. Really quickly, I want to give you
interrupt me now. Because
I want to give you 1 second. Open mind, $2 donation. Cody is the man. Carden is, well, he's Carden. And he said JK is fine.
Jeez.
It's all in fun. It's all in fun.
You know, open mind, just because you spell mind so cool and you did give us $2, I will accept that spanking. Yeah. That digital spanking that my wife is looking at right now as she watches our feed. You know, thanks, open mind. Thanks, Broseph.
Hey, you know, it's, you know, maybe I think you just misinterpreted the comment.
No, I'm just kidding. He did say JK. I just saw the JK part. Sorry, I was getting emotional thinking about children whose parents have died, because it almost happened to me.
Sad stuff.
Yeah,
anyway, hold on. On a lighter note,
yeah,
I thought this was really cool. Andrew Yang actually shouted out the server. He actually had her Twitter handle on here. The server he had that stayed open late at a local pizza place in Iowa to accommodate him in his campaign. I thought that was just so funny. Like, you'll see people
awesome.
take pictures with you'll see like a candidate kind of smiling with like oh, I met this guy at Dairy Queen. But I love he actually included her Twitter handle. I wonder what her growth rate's been on the Twitter account in the last couple hours since Andrew Yang tweeted. I just thought that was hilarious. Like I said, you'll see a lot of people who were like I said, like they'll like, oh, hey, we met so and so, and that's it. You know, maybe they'll have their name. Thanks, Jerry. But like actually having her Twitter handle in there cracks me up, dude.
So Tyrese C says Yang has an 80% chance of getting the Democratic nominee. I think he means the Democratic nomination. Tyrese, I'd love to see. If you were just throwing 80% out there, that's fine. If you actually have any data that makes you think that, I'd love to see it. And the Hookah Experience says, new Yang ganger here. Hookah Experience, I would actually really like to know what turned you on to Andrew Yang. Like, what actually got you involved in the Yang gang? Because it's pretty intriguing to see. It's pretty intriguing to see everybody's opinions on how they got involved. And then Yang Gang here says, Yang Gang since 2017. Okay, I'm totally curious. Why? Was there even an official Yang Gang in 2017? I mean, he hadn't announced. No. So I'm curious, were you just like reading his books and like it?
There was fans of Andrew Yang.
And then Open Mind says, tell wifey I'm just kidding. I will. Brittany? Okay. Open Mind is just kidding.
He's just kidding. I know people who were fans. He had been a promoter of UBI for a couple of years. I think his book had come out in 2018. Like, Like the Yang gang we know today, I would say. And hey guys, correct me if my Yang lore is wrong here. I would say the Yang gang we know today predates back to about
2018, right?
No, like March of this year. Shortly after the Joe Rogan appearance, that's when the pink hats and like the memes and everything, like that's when that started. When Andrew Yang started having fans, was probably the first time people met him. He's a really cool guy. One thing I learned watching a video is actually from an event we're not gonna miss it. We missed that. We're not gonna miss the next one.
Yeah, it was also $500 a ticket.
Yeah,
so
still though, we would have found a way to make it. If it just you had to leave like that night, and then I was gone up until about 9 p.m. that night. A later stream. Oh, I turned off my mic instead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I wanted to bring up was he brought up something I didn't know about Andrew Yang, which is really interesting to me. Andrew Yang spent multiple years as the entrepreneurial coach for the NBA. He was the official NBA entrepreneur. Who I saw that, dude. Tyler, nice show. Just found it. Keep it up. Heart sign. Thank you very much, Tyler.
See,
welcome.
I'm the one that noticed that one.
Yeah, of course. You know what? We have to work.
By the way, is Tyler a girl or a guy? Because that can go either way.
It's a weird question to ask.
Well, plus the heart sign.
I don't know.
The heart sign. That's kind of like, it's like when the cheerleaders used to write you love notes in the middle of class, which happened to you all the time, Cody. They put a little heart sign on it,
Yeah, we wrote notes when I was in high school. We didn't have phones.
Okay, I forget. You're super zoomer.
Wait, so hold on. You were on with the beepers, right? You didn't do the thing. I remember one of my teachers that was like 10 years older than me for some reason.
You mean the pagers?
Yeah, well,
that was my junior high school
You had like
experience.
codes, right? Like certain like numbers meant like certain things.
It was pathetic. Looking back, pagers were so dated.
Talk about a blip. Oh, dude, Scott Gregg, we all appreciate the two of you getting online every day for Andrew Yang. Thank you very much, Scott.
Hey, thanks a lot, Scott.
Yeah.
Morgan Countess asked an interesting question.
Before the show.
What are your thoughts on Yang environmental policies? Do we got time really fast, Cody?
Well, short answer, long answer, right? Because I want to give short answers. Because my short answer is, and we can go longer if you want. Just tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
I like the fact that he is definitely more of. So he gets a little bit. I guess it's hard to not get a little bit kind of hyperbolic when you're talking about climate change. Because to be frank, like, what do we actually exactly know? But like, I appreciate the way he says, look. United States can do whatever we want to do. There's other countries we have to bring on board. And any damage that's been done to the environment, dude, the Industrial Revolution did it 100 years ago. We have to focus more on what we're going to do now and not pretending we could, seriously, are you telling me 100 years of people not even thinking twice about the environment at all in the United States and parts of the world that still don't think about the environment at all means we've done no damage? So I like that. He acknowledges damage has been done. We have to stop pretending it hasn't been. People say unreversible damage will happen. Dude, it's happened. Like, we've treated the planet like crap for hundreds of years. Like, this is a new
and people
thing.
act like this is new. Like, people don't realize that 80% of the world's
I appreciate
forests.
that. Anyway, sorry. I appreciate him being more pragmatic and saying, look, guys, we can't pretend that this hasn't already happened. We have to find out what we do now, and we have to bring other countries on board. That's my short answer for what I think about climate change positions.
Yeah. People don't realize. They act like this is all new. That it's only since, the rise of ever since Rachel Carson wrote The Silent Spring in 1962 and we passed the Clean Air Act, has environmentalism been a thing? No, it's BS. There's many of us that were conservationists long before that, okay?
Then what's the Yosemite stuff, right?
And, look, it dates back to John Muir. It dates back to the pioneers. It dates back
the president who made the national parks.
William Penn, the guy that actually Pennsylvania is named after, passed some of the first environmental legislation saying, look, if you're going to clear an acre of forest for a farm or for a cabin, you have to leave, I think it was like 6 or 7 acres uncleared, because he understood that you had to conserve areas. And so when I look at the state of modern environmentalism, I think, where's the conservationism gone? Because we've cleared 70% of the world's forests. I mean, screw what you think about solar panels versus hydroelectric dams. Nothing is more effective than nuclear power, but the silly dogma of our leftist media prevents us from using nuclear power. Yet you got to go watch our video discussing nuclear power and how that will be an absolute game changer. What I like about Andrew Yang is the only things that I really disagree with him on are small rocks. If you take a jar and you fill that jar with rocks and you put in the big rocks first, okay, then you'll be able to fit in all the small rocks afterwards. But if you put in all the small rocks first and then try and put in a big rock later, it won't fit, okay? With Andrew Yang, the only things that I find myself agreeing with him or disagreeing with him on are generally small rocks. And that makes me feel a lot more comfortable with him as the Democratic nominee for president, because I feel like that is a workable situation. And he sees this because, unfortunately, the human mind, when it sees 3 headlines, it doesn't understand that one of these headlines is this high in importance, and then the other 2 really don't matter. All it sees is, 3 big headlines with exclamation marks on it. We have to worry about those things all equally. No. Environmentalism has to be conservation, and the only way forward to look at environmental energy, especially electrical energy, with all of these rules and aspirations we have in America, is through nuclear energy, and he's the only candidate that actually endorses that. So boom, I'm huge, at least on that for sure, of his environmental policies. Cody, what do you got for me?
No, we can get back into it. I just want to shout out Rambling Rose, $1.99 donation. Wanted to send more of my job was replaced by AI, dude. Trust me, we hear it, man. That's the kind of stuff we are.
Hey, Rambling Rose, what was your job?
Yeah, because first of all, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Anything.
Yeah,
and again,
thank you very much for the donation.
5 cents is plenty. Anything counts, guys. We just love seeing you guys support us.
Yeah, honestly, we are on cloud nine after these live streams.
Yeah,
because we love interacting with you guys. Yeah.
Sorry.
One more?
No, but there's something I wanted to bring up. I forgot. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, no, I have it.
Can I finish asking Rambling Rose what her job was that was replaced by AI?
I have too many tabs. So I apologize. Next time they'll have the tab.
Me Mad Man says losing interest. Why, dog? What's up? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
Kevin Mom, $4.20 donation. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Thank you, Kevin. Mom,
Sammy Turner says something interesting. She says, "Yep, I'm in the UK and we need UBI here too." That's interesting.
These are global companies, right? They impact more than just if you create something that automates a job here, it'll work in England too, right?
Knowing the Labour Party and how it's got gridlock on so much of the UK, I'm surprised. Actually, maybe I'm not surprised because I'm surprised that Democrats haven't picked this up. UBI, it's crazy. Richard Nixon's House of Representatives actually passed the Family Assistance Plan. The first attempt in American politics at UBI came from freaking Republicans. You know, and they're the party of anti-handouts, just like H3 podcast said.
Rambling Rose got back, so I want to bring it up because it's cool. This is what we're actually talking about. So I worked in the accounting office for Athens' major retail store. Accounting, there we go. Exactly. The kind of stuff that, dude, there's accountants in England, Spain, Portugal, United States, and Brazil. All of them.
Can we tease the trucker video?
And that's what I wanted to lead into, is that we've been talking about something like this. Yeah.
Okay, we actually went.
By the way, also, dude, I feel terrible. Like, that's what I mean. It's hearing people talk about how, like, literally, like, jobs people, like, you know, like I said, I don't want to sound like disrespectful, but it's not moving a box from one place to another. Jobs like that are getting just removed from people. It breaks my heart, man. Like, that's not right. We have to have something set up for this. Like, I don't know. Like I said, it breaks my heart. I'm sorry.
Shannon Bird says something interesting. I was a process improvement project manager. I personally cost 5 people their jobs, and a year later, I lost mine too. Automation is coming. Now, don't feel bad, Shannon Bird. Your job title was process improvement manager, and it's true. Whenever you start a company, you're always going to be human, high in human capital. And as you learn to get more efficient, you're going to use robotics to increase your productivity, which to a certain extent, I feel you're almost morally obligated to do as a business owner. All right. Every decision is not an economic decision. Okay. But if you are trying to get more of a good product out there to more people, you need to maintain efficiency. Okay. That's why, though, the VAT and UBI combo is such a positively lethal combo, because if you actually think about it, if our society had a UBI that was tied to the rise of the robots, getting more robots into our economy and getting more efficient at producing things wouldn't be something we look forward to with a dread in our eyes, but something we look forward to thinking, wow, if we can automate all of this stuff, we'll all be able to just have more UBI and live more comfortable lives. And then the question is, how do we self-actualize? How do we become good people? How do we find meaning? Maybe we can return to being people that cultivate human relationships. I feel so horrible. I go years not seeing some of my family members because I'm just so busy working, because I started my company and California keeps raising taxes and I have to work harder and harder and more weekends and more weekends and more days off and days off. It just becomes absurd. It goes beyond the usual entrepreneurs are the crazy people that work 80 hours a week so they can avoid working 90 hours a week. So they can avoid working 40 hours a week. It goes beyond the traditional workaholic motifs to a point where you just feel like this is subsistence farming in order to pay a draconian government all of the taxes that it demands. And if I'm successful, they want to punish me more with a higher bracket. It's really frustrating. Whereas if we had a UBI, the wealthy could donate it. Our 501c3s and our charities would thrive. Maybe we could actually start doing better for our communities. And on top of it, okay, we would all be less stressed out, maybe go back to liking each other a little bit. Because half the reason why I think we have such a polarized atmosphere, no, it's not just because of the media. The media has a lot of blame, but also our stress level. Our stress level as Americans has skyrocketed. Why? Because the median wage has not gone up, but all of our expenses have. The median wage has not gone up, but all of our expenses have. Now, true, we have much better things now, and that does not mean life is getting worse in certain measurable quantifiers. But in others, yes, and it's causing frustration and stress. And one of the ways in which it has not improved is the concept of stability. This gig economy that we are swamped in has people so focused on the short term that they can't make good, positive, long-term decisions. They're not making good, positive, long-term decisions in terms of the food they eat. And we're all getting obese, and we're all getting distressed with anxiety and depression, and we're all consuming these big pharma antidepressants out there because we're stuck in the short term, not making good long-term decisions because we are economically stressed, okay? And on top of that, our power to do good in the world is getting compromised deeper and deeper. Why? Because we are very economically stressed. Milton Friedman said it very well. Cody, what did he say? The big problem with poor people is they don't have money in their hands.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing Andrew Yang says too, right?
That's it. Yes, sometimes it is poor people, poor decisions. We cannot deny that oftentimes people have gotten where they've gotten because of poor decision making.
Well,
but there's
always.
a ton of people where it's not that way. And UBI would be awesome for those people. And you can't tell me that rising tide wouldn't lift all ships. And from every way of looking at UBI, it just makes sense from a moral perspective. You can be a good Christian person that believes for and against it. It's a wash. But everybody believes, okay, we need to help the poor, the sick, and the afflicted. And I haven't seen a program out there that's more cost effective in terms of government administrated services than the UBI. Because these 16 different means tested programs we have in California and the 32 different housing divisions that are all supposedly means tested in the United States of America, there's 32 different federal housing programs. And we have an entire third world country's population living homeless on the streets of Los Angeles with 32 different federal housing.
Hold on, really quickly, let's interject. Shout outs to a George fan, smiley face, thumbs up, $1.99 donation. Thank you very much, man. If I had glasses, I'd put them on. And then let's see.
Vegeta?
Did
I say that right?
Oh my, the guys, did he say it right? I believe you could have said it right. Sorry.
Vegeta.
No, Vegeta. Yang and Tulsi, Yang for national problems and Tulsi for international stream. That's what I was saying, man. But the funny thing is,
I think that's a power couple.
But the funny thing is that ways that breaks down is Tulsi's president. She's commander in chief, right? Sorry, and I want to make sure we didn't. Cool, that was it. And one thing I wanted to bring up. Tell me what you think about this. Someone brought it up in the comments. Actually, we were talking about it. It said bot versus bot Dota 2 for betting purposes could be the future. The reason why I bring it up, speaking of Elon Musk actually backed a company, and they're actually using Dota 2 to train AI and to get it better and to see how good they can get AI, how fast it can respond, because there's a lot of teamwork and communication required. And about a year ago, I'll throw it up on the screen, I just thought it was fascinating because someone was talking about the idea of automating video games, and I was joking you'll never automate gamers, but here's something that's kind of interesting, guys. This is from a year ago, but this isn't. At the same time, full disclosure, I remember this, and it wasn't exactly a steamroll. It was eventually the bots won. But here we go. This is the headline. It says Bill Gates says gamer bots from Elon Musk backed nonprofit are huge milestone in AI. And to be frank, the jump that this program had from 2017 to 2018 was very large. In 2017, I don't even think they even bothered fielding 5 bots. They only had 1 bot at a time. They didn't know how to do it. Anyway, the nonprofit OpenAI, co-founded and backed by billionaire tech titan Elon Musk, has built a team of robots that beat a team of humans at the complex video game Dota 2. It is a complex game. The feat impressed billionaire Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. AI bots just beat humans at the video game Dota 2. It's a big deal because the victory required teamwork and collaboration, huge milestone in advancing artificial intelligence. I would say bots always have the advantage of actually being able to, if you can get the teamwork, the ones and zeros down, you don't have to worry about any of the other stuff, right? Interpersonal stuff. But I just wanted to bring that up. It's kind of really fascinating. Here's a quote from Christy Dennison. She is the engineer. And she says that Dota is one of the most popular and challenging competitive video games ever. Playing Dota means you have to coordinate and focus a team of 5. Last year, we built a bot that defeated the world's best players in the 1v1 minigame. Again, full disclosure, not exactly how it went down. Eventually, it won one, but at the same time, once the human players realized that the bot was doing things a human wouldn't do, they were able to react accordingly and defeat it. So it started off initially very tough, and they realized, wait a minute, it doesn't know how to react to this. That's actually kind of a little aside here from this quote. That's one of the fascinating things about the 2017 test they had a human versus a regular player, was that the human was able to find things the AI just quite frankly couldn't see or wouldn't attempt to do. And that's how the human players, because originally they couldn't beat it, and then they figured out, oh, if I do this, it's not programmed for this. And it really did kind of shut down and do nothing. I mean, there was times where they were able to do 1 or 2 weird things, and they'd get the bot to just stop. It wouldn't do anything. It did not know how to react. So that is one of the interesting things about AI, man. It seems to be when you break it, it breaks. You know what I mean? Like if you do something it was not prepared for, yeah, it shows and it breaks. Anyway, this year we want to beat the best pro teams at the full game. To do this, we have built a new AI system, which we spent the last few months training. Like I said, it was impressive. They did beat a real team eventually, but it's the kind of thing, if they play 100 games, I wonder how many the bots actually won. Also, I wonder how much they change over that. But just an aside, guys, but someone brought it up in the chat, the idea of what is the actual link between, like what does AI mean as far as, video games and stuff goes like that? And there we go. That's how it goes, man. It's really interesting to think about, but they are actually using Dota 2 to train AI. And like I said, the advancement from 1 year, 17 to 18, was actually, there was an advancement, guys. So there we go.
Okay, so we got some really hilarious comments here. First off, Tyler Vidito says, read my super chat, guys. Do we not read Tyler's super chat? UBUU7 says, I support Cody.
Hold on.
Thanks, dog. Thanks a lot. Throwing some shade. Cryptic Hater.
Hold on. Remember I call you a right-wing SJW?
I'm not a right-wing SJW. I have a show about Andrew Yang.
It's a joke, but what I mean is someone says, hey, I like X, and you immediately say, oh, so you don't like Y. That's not true, man. Oh, Tyler, thank you guys for the great content. Yang Gang. I did miss that one. You're right. Holy cow. Sorry, dude. Anyway, so read it again. From Tyler, $1.09. Thank you guys for the great content. Yang Gang, dude. Shout outs, man.
Thanks for the reminder, Tyler. Anyway, here's some interesting stuff. Cryptic Hater says, I'm Yang Gang gay. All right. I don't know if he officially just came out on the Problem Solver Politics show, but what better way to come out of the closet as gay than as Yang Gang gay? That's a special type of gay right there. Yang Gang gay. All right, and then Jarrell Bisanth. Ooh, I'm probably botching that name. This is an interesting question. Interesting comment. It says, Christians have to go back and study the biblical Jewish economy. God provided a UBI in the form of not totally gleaning their fields. Okay, yes, it's true. The story of Ruth is based upon the idea that the poor, it's not that they didn't glean their fields. It's that when there was a square field and the people were coming by and they were threshing and they were cultivating, they basically made a circle. So the edges were left and could be gleaned by poor people. And it was symbolic of a tithe, meaning like a 10% of the field was left for the poor, which is a very interesting, it's interesting because technically they had to go work for it. It wasn't just an unconditional check written. There was work for it. But yeah, that is a very interesting correlation, Jarrell. In fact, we could actually do a video on the correlation of ancient economics and UBI, because there is a lot that they had in common. And similar with ancient Aztecs, they had something similar to a UBI as well. However, it's slightly different, but I'm liking the correlations here. And also, they would forgive debts in the year of Jubilees. Every 7 years, it was required that people would forgive debts. In fact, it kind of became problematic. In the 6th year, people didn't want to give loans because they were afraid the person would require the debt be forgiven only a year later. So, yes, I think it is. I think we have gone wrong as a society in modernity, in which old times, when you read old Greek manuscripts, old Hebraic manuscripts, okay? The Greeks and the Romans fell in love with belief systems that were old. Credibility came with age. Oh, I will follow this philosopher from 200 years ago because his philosophy has proven to be correct for 200 years. They viewed belief systems like wine. It only gets better with age. However, something happened in the 60s. This cultural revolution had a lot of good things about it, but it had a lot of really bad things about it. And one of them was this idea that, don't trust somebody over 30. If it's newer, it's automatically better. And to be honest with you, sometimes newer ways of thought are not better. And we do have to learn from the past. Can we learn from the Nixon administration and the family assistance plan? Can we look back to that? Can we look back to all this, all of these texts from ancient Israel, from the ancient Mesopotamia, from the ancient Americas, and not see if there is a better way of looking at it? And yeah, there's probably Old Testament examples that are probably a lot better than this. I don't want to call it free market capitalist because we don't have free market capitalist.
Well, hold on.
We have a federally regulated crony capitalist system.
Yes.
What? Do we get another one?
No, I just wanted to get back to kind of more topic at hand.
Yes, sorry.
The big week of Andrew Yang.
Yes.
So to recap, what exactly made it such a big week for Andrew Yang? I'm really quickly going to run through, not in chronological order, guys. I apologize for that. But this is stuff that happened that's big. First of all, Casey, I'm going to say his name wrong. Not intentionally. I'm going to try so hard not to, but I always do. Casey Neistat, I believe. I've heard him say it, and I got to get it wrong. Anyway, he is one of the biggest YouTubers, one of the biggest he's one of those few actually legitimate, he's interesting enough to be a lifestyle blog, this is what I do and people care. Anyway, he recently on Twitter, as 2 days ago, tweeted out his math hat purchase, Yang2020.com. Thank you, Casey. We're talking about Elon Musk being a big, what's what I'm looking for, endorsement for Donald Trump, for Andrew Yang. Excuse me, people, for Andrew Yang. Casey Neistat actually kind of infamously almost in 2016 actually got on a lot of other YouTubers for not coming out and supporting Hillary Clinton enough. He said, hey, we have to help Hillary. Hillary's got to win. But anyway, he was a big time not fundraiser, but dude, he was turning his 11 million followers on YouTube and telling them, hey, Hillary Clinton, she's the future. We got to vote for her. He's a big influencer in the internet era right now, dude. So getting that Casey Neistat endorsement, dude, that's no joke. That really is another big one to go with. The other large endorsement, which, because we're talking about a much more cryptic individual when it comes to Elon Musk, I think it's an endorsement. It sounds like an endorsement.
Okay.
I support Yang. I don't know how else you read it. But at the same time, it is Elon Musk, man. The guy, he's a interesting one. I still think it's an endorsement. I
mean, the same year that he said I'm a socialist, he was voting. He was donating also to Senator
he's
Marco
a capitalist.
Rubio.
That's literally what he does.
Yeah,
he's an entrepreneur.
He's kind of like this rational Howard Hughes that's just got enough crazy to keep you on his toes.
Your toes. I think he's just actually. You know what? A lot of people think they're smart and say they're smart. When you come in contact with someone who's actually really smart, sometimes you're I literally don't know this. I don't know what they're doing. I can't predict anything they're going to say or do next. Why is he doing that? It makes no sense. Well, he's a billionaire who's building rocket ships to the moon. So maybe he just knows something we don't.
Okay, we got to answer iSmith1234191985 said Cardin and Cody. He misspelled my name in both parts, but we'll forgive this. Do you guys have any comments on the Jeffrey Epstein suicide?
Okay, hold up. Before we get to Jeffrey Epstein, kind of just run over why this is a big week for Andrew Yang for anyone just joining, wondering why was it a big week for Andrew Yang, and then we'll get to the conspiracy theory hour because there's no other way to get into that.
No, you can't say conspiracy.
Doesn't matter. There is no other way. Hey, by the way, I'm 100% game for that. I love that stuff. I'm just saying, there's no other way to look at it. That's what it is. Anyway, why this was big for Andrew Yang? Endorsements, Elon Musk. Endorsements, Casey Neistat. He also, very recently, as in, I believe 2 days ago, sorry guys, I got to pull the article up right here, he reached the polling threshold, which is 4% or 2% in his fourth poll. Excuse me. Anyway, though, he is now going to qualify for not just the debate later this month in September. He's also going to qualify for the October debate because a change was made in the rules for the DNC where they basically said, look, we're going to look at this as one long window. And if at any point between now and the October debate you hit the qualifications, then you hit it and you're in. So if you hit it now, you're in for both. You hit it right before October debate, you're in for October, you miss September. So because of that rule change and Andrew Yang, once again, actually getting his fifth poll, 2%, the fourth to count, he became just the 9th person on the stage. I mean, you look at who's on the stage with Andrew Yang, because I know, obviously getting endorsed by Casey Neistat, who I said kind of almost infamously because of how some YouTubers reacted to the way he kind of, not to say pressure, but I remember it was a little bit of controversy. He was saying, hey guys, more of you guys need to come out and support Hillary Clinton. He was, saying that. So this is the guy who was involved in politics, supported Andrew Yang. Elon Musk, a guy who is influential dude, man. He's a very influential guy. Comes out, supports Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang not chronologically, but in addition, Andrew Yang reaches the qualifying mark. He's now going to be on stage at the end of this month with, I mean, maybe Tulsi and Julian Castro. I think Julian Castro's kind of close. More than likely, this is probably the field, man. And you look, it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. These are the big-time frontrunners.
Yeah.
To be frank, I'm not following her campaign as closely. It's impressive that Amy Klobuchar's here. I don't hear about her nearly as much. I hear about Beto, Buttigieg, Booker way more than Klobuchar.
Well, Amy Klobuchar,
she's hanging in there, man. She's on the stage again. I don't think if we're gonna say you can't write off Andrew Yang, can you write off Amy Klobuchar? She's still at the debate. You know what I mean? So impressive move for Andrew Yang.
Yeah, and Amy Klobuchar actually has a tendency to come across consistently as a lot more reasonable than other people. I confess I'm just not as familiar with her, and once again, I totally confess to a hypocrisy here. I'm complaining that we have a soundbite-driven, media-fueled, a soundbite-driven media that's just attention-fueled, and you got to be a clown in order to get attention. Well, she's not a clown, so she hasn't gotten as much attention, and I haven't looked at her. So, Amy Klobuchar, we're going to analyze your campaign a little bit better.
The comb story is like all I know about her, to be frank. It really is. I don't know very much aside from her about the story that she ate salad with a comb once. It's like nonsense, but that's like all I know about her.
Okay. So,
oh, and then the one, I don't know if I want to say this is necessarily like part of like the big week of Andrew Yang, but I do think that this is, we watched the video. I'm not going to play it again in its entirety. It's about 4 minutes long. The tweet is here, but he had it at this, he had multiple appearances in Iowa. I watched his appearance at the Iowa State Fair. Yep. That's an Andrew Yang rally. He comes out and he tells you this and that and this.
And can I say, here's something that you guys got to look up. Okay, I rarely endorse any of their videos that are political because they're so biased it hurts. But some of their culture stuff is good. Vox did an interesting video just recently that dropped about the Iowa State Fair and how all of the candidates have to come to the Iowa State Fair and they have to interact with the people. And Iowa is wildly Republican. And there's one Democrat that won state office, a very young guy named Sand, I think is his last name, Ryan Sand, or somebody please fact check me on that. But he's the only Democrat that won, and he's texting all of these presidential candidates, giving them tips on like what works and what doesn't. And it showed Biden's opening remarks, basically calling Trump a white supremacist and lampooning his Charlottesville comments. And this young guy, who's the only elected Democrat in Iowa under the age of 65, says, yeah, that doesn't really work. But then when Andrew Yang came out and talked about the income inequality and the economic issues, he was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely a lot more up people's alley because when the bottle factory closes a half mile away, that's what they care about. They care about their jobs. And Andrew Yang was the only one that didn't fake trying to say y'all when he came up. You had to look at Julian Castro. It was hilarious. He says, oh, hey, it's great to be with y'all out here.
He's from Texas, right?
Oh, he's so he butchered.
But he's from Texas. Right? I'm saying, if any of the ones who say it, Julian and Beto. Oh no, he's not from Texas. Where does he represent? I thought it was Texas.
Beto O'Rourke's from Texas.
No, wow, man.
But whether he can say it naturally or not, it was so obvious that somebody said, "Okay, we focus group this, and we think the best way for you to go on stage in Iowa is by saying y'all."
No, yeah, sorry. I have to correct myself here. I was right. Born in San Antonio, Texas. Served as the mayor of native San Antonio.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know. But it's still, I don't care if he can say it naturally. It didn't come across as natural.
Saying, of anyone to pick to say y'all,
and
those two I'll give an
neither
excuse.
did Joe Biden.
He doesn't get a pass. Joe Biden doesn't get a y'all pass.
Yeah.
They get a y'all pass in Dallas, I feel like.
Go watch the Vox video. There were two candidates that got up there, and one of them was like, oh, good to be here with you all. Yeah, like you could tell that just some intern back there was like trying to teach him how to say y'all, but it was like you all, but it was a joke. So anyway, I like that just Andrew Yang hugs people and says, yeah, that sucks, and I got a plan for it. And I'm open to ideas that aren't. I definitely appreciate that.
Hey, you know what? Remember we said we're gonna talk some conspiracy theories a little bit here? I got a fun one for you guys.
Well, are we gonna talk about the Epstein thing or what?
We can get there.
Okay.
I know this is my thing I rag on all the time. I don't know if it's popular or not, but I don't care, man. I rag on this all the time. I think part of that, dude, you know what? when you are the only candidate who isn't on like a bunch of like I don't know like benzodiazepine kind of drugs and antidepressant kind of drugs and stuff like that, it's probably easier for you to have organic moments like that. Because I imagine a lot of these people are on all kinds of stuff because their lives are very stressful and anxiety inducing and all that stuff. So I think Andrew Yang may be coming from the business world to do things differently there, because it's weird, man. Like you see candidates receive questions like that and just kind of blank face it, give like that assuring nod and say, well, I'm glad you brought that up. That's very good for policy. Like Andrew Yang felt like a real human being where he was like, oh my God, that's terrible. I can't even imagine that. And he tried to imagine that and he got so worked up, he literally couldn't even talk about what he was trying to talk about because the thought choked him up. So that's my crazy, wild, out there conspiracy theory for the day, is that Andrew Yang is one of the few people out there who actually is not on any kind of psychoactive medication, who is able to let him connect with human beings in a way that other people can't. So yeah, unpopular. Don't mean to be rude. I'm just saying it's weird. You see Andrew Yang say stuff, and it's like,
well,
wow,
you had a really good
like
idea, Cody. Cody had a really good idea in which you said this was back when everybody was trying to diagnose. Every SJW psychiatrist in hipster Brooklyn and Los Angeles was trying to remotely diagnose Donald Trump as a paranoid schizophrenic. Remember that news cycle that lasted 2 or 3 days?
Well, what's kind of fascinating, there actually was a law created a very long time ago that says it's illegal. And the reason why it's illegal is because there's a presidential race, I want to say in like 100 years ago, where they literally paid a bunch of people to diagnose the opponent as crazy and then printed it on like the front page of the newspaper. Like, he is actually insane. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's crazy. You can't vote for him. So they had to make an election law saying you're not allowed to diagnose someone you've never actually officially treated and you can't publish it as fact. But the funny thing, the reason why I bring it up is a lot of people dance very close to doing that. And I thought it was weird where it's like, hold on, man. Like, you can say that these ideas are bad, but like, he's actually a crazy person based on my diagnosis. I never met him. Like, so if it's true, just give the diagnosis, man. It's out there.
Yeah, back when that was happening, it was interesting. That stole the news cycle for a little while, but it made you think, hey, what if we actually passed a law where we had to do blood tests on Congress? Because it's not the president I'm worried about. It's freaking all the Xanax and the booze that all of our congressmen are doing. Now, you'll notice Cody hates it. Cody hates it. You guys missed this. Hey, Cody, can you also fix the light, the red light right there? You guys are going to see some PSP reality here. Whenever we make the comments, Cody hates it when people say, oh, the big guy is stupid and the little guy is smart. Now, I am indeed 6'5.5". Putting on shoes, I'm 6'6". So there's no way to frame this shot.
Like a shooting guard.
In which, solid shooting guard. Cody, not so much.
Even undersized nowadays. No, I got no chance.
But you just saw us. We're going to have to lower the camera so I'm not towering over him again. So anyway, keep going. I think it would be a good idea to actually require blood tests.
Blood audits
of all of these congressmen. Because some of these dudes are doing coke.
Yeah, well,
like every time they want to say we need to drug test welfare, which I'm totally fine with, we should also drug test our freaking congressmen because those brothers are doing some blow to stay awake in the morning.
Here's the thing, though. This is the point behind it, though. Is I do believe, we live in a country where if it's like, no, but see, that's the thing. It's like, dude, when we're talking about political representatives, honestly, if people love someone and they wasn't there a mayor of, was it Tom Ford? It was like he actually got caught smoking crack and that didn't end his career, I believe. Like something else eventually did. But dude, I feel like if people believe in someone, it'd be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe they are on, this medication, but I don't care. I trust them. I believe in them. We should be able to do it. I'm just saying we should know, right? Okay,
so look at this. Sean Sterling responds and says, Cardin, and he spelled it with an I. Dang it, it's Cardon.
Oh, hold on.
Uh-huh.
Matthew Dominguez was asking this a lot the last stream when you were gone, so we'll just do it. He wanted to know, do you order tacos in Spanish? That was his first question.
Oh, yeah.
You do? Okay, so...
wait, do I order tacos in Spanish? Well, tacos are Tex-Mex. They're not a Spanish meal. So, and also it depends on what the speaker behind the counter
speaks. So you only order tapas in Spanish?
No. Like, for example, if I'm hanging out down in Sylmar or in East Los Angeles and I've got a job down there... Matthew Dominguez, shout out. Thanks for the $2,
that's
brother.
what I'm talking about. He asked this in the last one. I want to get that out.
Oh, okay.
And then the other question.
So if they're speaking, let me answer the question.
No, it's a two-parter. I want you to get the two-parter.
Okay.
Second part is what is your in and out order?
Okay. So first off, it depends upon the linguistic capabilities of the person I'm talking to. If I go into a taqueria down in East Los Angeles or something, and I show up, and it is obvious that this person does not speak English, and I'm the only white dude in there, You know what I'm saying? I know some amazing hole-in-the-wall restaurants throughout Los Angeles. In that case, I'll just walk in and be like, hey, ¿cómo le va? ¿Cómo está? You know, and I'll just start, you know, jawing with them in Spanish because that's the most efficient way of speaking. Other times, and this is very possible in Los Angeles, because I grew up with a bunch of Latinos. All my best friends in elementary school were from all over the world. I had friends from Cyprus, friends from Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Japan, Korea, everywhere. There's tons of Mexicans, that don't speak Spanish because they're like second or third generation, and they're called bocho or bocha by all of their friends. And so it's hilarious. I actually have Mexican friends whose parents are from Mexico who do not speak Spanish, but my white butt, you know what I'm saying, speaks Spanish. So when we go out, I will speak Spanish on behalf of my Mexican friends in order to order food in this hole-in-the-wall restaurant in Sylmar. So yeah, it's true. I do order sometimes in English and Spanish. And my In-N-Out order, I was an In-N-Out original gangster. Believe it or not, I have switched
from
to
the
Carl's
60s?
Jr. No, my mom loved In-N-Out because the bathrooms were clean as a kid.
Yeah, that's a good point,
And
man.
so
Don't overlook that restaurant. Anyone out there owns a restaurant, don't overlook that.
yeah, we would always go there because the bathrooms were clean. And I would always get a double animal style with animal style fries and a strawberry shake with no drink, because they actually allow you to substitute the value of the drink for a shake, and you only pay like $1 more. So that's my order. Now, can I get back to Sean Sterling's question here?
By all means, man. I just want to make sure
He said, Cardin, you are nuts. If Congress critters had to do the same drug testing as the same way benefit recipients do, we'd have to replace Congress. Exactly.
No,
exactly.
My point exactly, man. Like we have a right to know this stuff, man. Like, hey, you could say, you know what? I understand why that. For example, this is a real thing. Okay, this is a real thing in Major League Baseball. Whoops, sorry, guys. In Major League Baseball, you are not allowed to take Adderall. It's considered a performance-enhancing drug. Barry Bonds, actually. Oh yeah, and M. Santa. We have. If you want, I'll throw it back in the background again. We played through it a couple times, and that was a really powerful moment. But anyway, Barry Bonds, amongst others that were cheaters, took Adderall as a performance-enhancing drug, right? Anyway, though, currently, I believe there's about 12 or 13 Major League players who have an exemption from a doctor to take Adderall. So I'm so goofy. There is precedent for this. But seriously, I mean, like, we have things like baseball where we recognize for some people, this is abusing. It's something you can't abuse. And for other people, it is something to take medicinally in a way. Here we go, something from medical marijuana. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to say, look, like, for example, Zach Greinke's a very high-profile player. I don't know if he still does, but for years had permission to take Adderall, or most players didn't. And instead of saying, oh, my God, that guy's a cheater, no one really says it. Like, oh, okay, yeah, like, I guess he, you know, like, for him to perform the way he performs, it's just something he needs from his doctor. So there is some kind of, not even precedent, but there's an idea that, like, look, we understand, like, it's one thing if we do a blood test and someone or drug test and something comes up to just say, oh, I'm automatically failed. And it's another thing to actually kind of use it to say, well, is this something that this person should or shouldn't be? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think, sorry. You know what? I'm going to play the video again. I just got like 2 text
Well, you
messages.
should watch
I see
it.
you guys in the chat. I want to play the video of Andrew Yang at the...
I love the Asians in our chat room. It's hilarious.
Oh, God.
This guy says, Asians get spanked as kids and we don't cry, we conform. And then this other guy says, Asians make tea from their tears. And then this other guy jumps on and says, it's called tears because tea is in it. This is awesome. It's like Chuck Norris jokes on steroids. So anyway, we definitely will pull up again this moment with Andrew Yang in which you cannot
sorry, people.
look at the importance of our elected officials and not include keeping our children safe in there. Now, I hate people that stand on the graves of the children at Sandy Hook.
I'm going to play the video in the background real quick. I'll have the volume down. There's subtitles so you guys can hear a little bit. It's a really moving thing.
And I do have to speak over this for a certain period of time so we don't get copyright struck.
No, I'll set the volume down low. Don't worry. Like I said, there's subtitles. And then when we get to the moment, or is this not? Hold up. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I'm going to find the subtitled version of the clip so we can play it in the background. The one on Twitter. I pulled up the C-SPAN clip. So
yeah.
Here
Now it's not a rush to cry on stage. But I think
that was real, just legitimate.
I think it shows humanity and it shows what we're lacking.
The way he reacts, dude, it's crazy. You don't see a lot of politicians react this organically. They'll kind of do the thing where they stand there and, like, I don't know, it's like a brave face or what. They just kind of stand there and look at you.
2 days
And
later.
like nod, and then then after they stand and nod for a while,
Firearms are
they
the
just.
second
Oh,
leading
sorry.
cause of death for children and teenagers in the U.S., but 4.6 million American children live in homes with at least one gun that is loaded and unlocked, and hundreds of them gain access to a gun and unintentionally shoot themselves or someone else every year. As president, how would you address unintentional shootings by children?
Thank you for that. Can I give you a hug? Is that be appropriate?
Yeah, we ran this earlier, guys, but for anyone just joining, people are asking. This is it's a really powerful moving clip. It shows the humanity of Andrew Yang. So it's a big week for him. I think stuff like this is what highlights why it's such a big week for him. Is he's got the chops, man. He's a real candidate people want to believe in. So here we go. We'll get back to his response to the question.
Oh, I can't watch this now.
I have a 6 and 3-year-old boy. I was imagining.
It's tough.
It's real, though. It's like how you actually would. So a real person would react.
I was imagining it was one of them that got shot, and the other saw it.
It's going viral for good reason, man. It's really
I'm
moving.
so sorry. The biggest downside of running for president for me has been that I don't get to see my family very much. So I get pictures, I FaceTime, I see pictures of my boys, and just that scene that she described, I'm sorry, it's like very, very affecting. You're right that when there's a gun in the household, you're more likely to have a child get shot or the owner get shot than to kill, let's say, an intruder into the house. Those are just numbers. Those are just the facts. So one of the things we can do, and it's very hard to get into Americans' houses where all of these guns are, but if we can convince Americans that personalized guns are a good idea, then again, if the child gets a hold of the gun, then they can't do anything with it.
I really appreciate that. I bristle big time when people start going after the Second Amendment. But I also recognize that we got to do something. I just don't want to do something. I don't want to have the do something syndrome where you do something stupid just in the name of doing something.
Well, but
okay?
he's talking about something he's talked about for a while. It's his policy for like guns.
Yeah, I'm not dogging on him, so you don't have to defend him. I'm just saying I really appreciate that he says, and I don't want to impose my psychology on him, but it seems like he said it's really hard to get into people's houses where the guns are. That shows a respect for the Second Amendment and somebody's constitutional right to have a gun. And then he says, but I would like to convince Americans. See, that is a voluntary interaction, and I want to see more of that from politicians. I want to see politicians trying to convince the American public of things. You want to know what helped us clean up our environment? Convincing Americans in the 70s and 80s that littering was bad.
Why don't I just get the last 40 seconds of his answer out?
Yeah. Hit it up.
Then it just becomes a very heavy, expensive prop. And that's something that we can push. One of my proposals is to actually help gun owners upgrade their guns to personalized guns free of charge. Because if we can do that, then again, if you're a gun owner, and gun owners are parents, gun owners understand that, and some of them are concerned. So if you say, hey, we'll upgrade your guns for free, when we can do that, like you can upgrade the guns for free, and that would help make kids safer in our homes. I'm so sorry you had to, and that story should not be possible. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to be at the end of the clip. Yeah, dude, and this really is. I mean, I don't want to I don't know. Like I said, I hate the idea of trying to profit or gain off this. But dude, this moment's just going very I literally had 2 people text me in the last few minutes saying oh my god, you see the Andrew Yang guy I was talking about? I just saw him on the news, and you'll never get this crazy. And because it's people said this a lot about things Andrew Yang does, and it's it shouldn't be, but oh my god, is it refreshing to just see someone who seems like an actual real human being who actually cares up there on the stage, just doing stuff that shouldn't stand out, right? Shouldn't stand out. It does because no one else really does it. I mean, there's a really funny tweet somebody had showed me a little while ago where they compared some tweetception here. But anyway, it's just comparing what Elizabeth Warren says on Twitter to what Andrew Yang is saying on Twitter. And it really is true, man. Like Andrew Yang, when you see Andrew Yang talk about stuff, it's the kind of stuff where you actually be like, oh, you know what? That isn't what every other person's talking about all the time, and I actually kind of care about this. So sorry, here's the tweet, and it's a screenshot of a tweet of Elizabeth Warren. Okay, sorry guys, I'm trying to resize it so it fits.
I hate this crap.
Of Elizabeth Warren, and she says, there we go. I apologize, guys. Read for yourself. There we go. Today I was asked whether the president is white supremacist. I said yes.
Oh, you're
Hold
so
on.
brave.
No, but look at that though. 10,000 retweets, 79,000 likes. And you go to Andrew Yang. In the Atlantic Ocean, satellite imagery is detecting a 4 to 8% annual decrease in biological activity, a number that exceeds existing global warming models. That is catastrophic. Reversing these trends will take a mammoth ingenuity and investment.
But ingenuity.
And he goes on to say one of the more promising approaches is to reforest the. He's talking problems and solutions. By the way, I believe it was Tumajian Bezos at Bezos 2020, man. Shout out. I think he put this one together. But yeah, it's like, here's Andrew Yang talking about actually problems and solutions, right? And then here's Elizabeth Warren just saying what they say on the news all the time. And I get Andrew Yang went on CNN and said basically the same thing she said, not too long after, but just the idea of like, what are the candidates actually saying? Hey, here's a complex problem, you know? Satellite images are saying that we're like seeing X, Y, and Z. We need to do something about it. It's going to be tough, but here's some stuff we could do. Is such a refreshing response compared to X is bad. You know it. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe it is. But like, what about like other things people care about? Like the environment? How are we going to help the environment? I don't think saying that anyone is bad or dumb helps the environment. Saying, hey, we can use the approach of reforesting the ocean by setting up algae and kelp arrays that could spur marine life. We have to be proactive and invest. That sounds a lot more like policy I can get behind than X is bad. Like, you know what? Maybe you're right, but I need more. I need a problem and a solution if I really want to actually care about what you're saying. Because I believe all these people care a little bit. Some are probably egomaniacs who are just trying to, you know, sell some books. But all these people care about the country. Like, there's a really touching thing I saw earlier with Cory Booker and Andrew Yang kind of like shaking hands and hugging and stuff. Just like they're like, you know, they're what's what I'm looking for. I can't think of the word. It's driving me crazy. Not contemporaries, but like peers.
Yeah, contemporaries.
Yeah, like I guess contemporary, like peers. But like they like recognize like, hey, we're both
contemporaries is a lot more academic. Hey, you got to shout out Matthew Dominguez, bro.
Oh, I got to. You do. I do. Hold on.
To fund PSP's next live stream from Leo's on Venice and La Brea. You guys got $2.50 for all Pastor tacos last time. Awesome. You know, actually, guys, we are very interested in doing a live stream or a video from a remote location where people can come.
Hold on.
What?
You're a lot more interested than I got to set it up, but.
Well, no, there's
I'm just kidding.
There's technological considerations that we have to do, but we would love to know where you guys are. We get some data from the YouTube live stream apps. We know there's a lot of you guys in Los Angeles.
No, the YouTube just tells us countries wise. Actually, that'd be kind of fun. Give me a few minutes. I'm gonna shout out some of these countries you guys are from. Oh, before I finish shouting out, Harriet Welsh, $2. Thank you, man. Or man or woman, dude. Like I said, I call everything dudes. Thank you, dude. Anyway, I'm going to pull up and shout some countries. Sorry.
They also said Don Cuco has the best homemade tortillas. Now we're starting to get all
Cuco's.
kinds
Hey,
of...
I know Don Cuco's, yeah.
Yeah. So also got to give a shout out to Harriam M. Welsh. And we do have to tell you guys, these donations are going to a very good place. I was an idiot, and so was Cody. We knocked down our third camera. All of our equipment, we're very frugal. We buy it used off eBay. And unfortunately, one of our cameras went on the fritz. We used to have 4. And then the third one, we actually knocked over and it broke. So we are indeed saving up for our third camera for the studio shot. You may notice that about 20 videos ago, we used to consistently add a third studio shot that was pretty cool that showed all of our tchotchkes.
Now we got this.
As Cody calls them. now we got the split screen, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Way cool.
Yeah, also, I got the list of the countries I want to shout out to.
Okay, awesome.
Really quick. Oh, here we go. So anyway, guys, just because I love talking to you guys all the time, and really quickly, I wanted to read through. I pulled up these numbers, these analytics, these stats the other day, and I got a smile on my face, man, because and the reason why I'm bringing this up, somebody in the chat pointed this out, multiple of you guys in the chat pointed this out. It's funny. There's so many. I wouldn't say funny, but a lot of people from outside of the United States are really focused on Andrew. I mean, we got a donation from Canada, I believe, where they're looking at Andrew Yang and they're saying like, "Oh, I like this guy. I want to see more. They're interested in Andrew Yang, right?" So I thought it'd be funny. I just wanted to shout out. Here's some of the countries we've received over 1,000 views from. I just want to shout them out. So we go to U.S., Canada, Australia, UK, Malaysia, Singapore, Germany, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, Netherlands, Sweden, India, Indonesia, and I'll throw in Philippines, Norway, and South Africa as well. Anyone in the chat from any of those countries, please shout out. Let us know. Like I said, I love seeing people from all across the globe being so interested in Andrew Yang and what he's about. Like, it's really cool to see that, it's not just Americans that are taking notice. Like, a lot of people are taking notice. Like, this Andrew Yang guy is talking about stuff that resonates with people across the world, not just in America. I go England for Yang from the Boris. Like, it's like I said, I just think it's cool. Look, because we talk mostly about Yang and this campaign in relation to Andrew Yang, And yeah, man, like people are taking notice. It's not just Americans that are saying, "Oh, Andrew Yang is cool." There's a lot of people across the globe saying, "Wait a minute," because Joe Rogan's national, so it's international. Like, this guy's talking real stuff. I was just talking with Cardin a few minutes ago before we started the show tonight.
With my sick intro.
With your sick intro. But seriously, I remember the moment I decided to really focus, like really take a notice to Andrew Yang and say, "Hold on a minute, this guy's different. This guy's special." It was on the Joe Rogan podcast when he was talking, we've all heard it now, but when he launched it talking about like life expectancy is going down in America. People are actually feeling X, Y, and Z. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something that actually happens in real life. It's not things aren't great, but they're pretty good, right? Because my party's been in power. It's like, no, dude, he's just saying like things aren't great for everyone. People are struggling all over. Life expectancy is going down mostly because life quality is going down for people. And that's what kind of won me over, where I'm like, that's what I want my president talking about. This is strictly taco cash and less tacos will be photo. Thank you, Matthew.
So,
thank you, Jockey, joining for the camera phone. Thank you, man. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out. Like, that was, I wonder if any of you guys feel the same way in chat, but like, that was the moment where when I heard Andrew Yang talking about when you start working on like a president who wants to see life expectancy for its population increase organically. That's a president I will support. President who's like, my particular plan for this thing that's probably not going to get done because it's going to be compromised on, and maybe not win the House. But it's like, I don't care, man. I want a president saying like, dude, we're going to work to make a country people actually love to live in, and it's going to be reflected in the fact that we have a quality of life and a life expectancy that is getting better over time and not worse. I believe he said at the Des Moines, if anyone can correct me on this, but I believe at the Register's soapbox, he said that we're seeing like one of the lowest, like one of the steepest drops in life expectancy since like the Spanish flu, when that ran through. Like, yeah,
1918 was the last time we had a drop in life expectancy as significantly as we did now. Actually, really a drop in life expectancy.
100 years, man. So like, someone running for president saying, we're at 100. Like, this is a 100-year anomaly for life expectancy drop. That's a problem. That wins me over a lot more than our current president's not good enough. Like, cool, dude. Are you good enough? Tell me why you're good enough. No one ever does. Andrew Yang actually does. So I like that.
So Me Madman says, mandate all good citizens to carry as in Israel. You want to know what, my man? I actually like the Israeli and the Swiss model of every trained able-bodied man having weapons training a lot higher. They don't have mass shootings there, and they don't got to worry about psychotic crap like breaking and entering and all that violence because every dude knows how to use a rifle. I much prefer, when comparing ourselves to foreign models, the Israeli and the Swiss model over the Australian confiscation model. So good point there. And AQI says, if you had UBI, you can buy the cameras. Oh!
No, yeah.
We just got a real-life practical application.
If we had UBI, man, we would be definitely...
Now, Gabriel Sutherland brings up something interesting. He says, I hope Yang's new gun control talk doesn't alienate his fans on the right.
No, see, his answer wouldn't.
No, this is a misinterpretation. This is why it's really... Gabriel Sutherland, I'd like to know if you're a registered Democrat or Republican. I would totally guess that he's generally a registered Democrat that watches left-leaning news. And I don't say that as a pejorative, but... Our media completely mischaracterizes what conservative thought is. Conservative thought is conservative. It's not gun-loving. It's conservative and Constitution-loving, okay? It's not Brett Kavanaugh loving. It is loving of due process, okay? They think from 5 different points of view, not just 2, okay? And conservatives, they want to make sure that the true nature of the Second Amendment is preserved. Okay, but they also understand that there's technicalities to this and practicalities that have to be addressed. And Andrew Yang approaching it respectfully and with specific ideas that can be debated upon substance does not intimidate conservatives. It would intimidate the caricature of a conservative. Now, Barack Obama himself said, if I were the president that I see on Fox News every night, I wouldn't vote for myself either, okay? Because he was recognizing that there was a caricature of him that was getting prolonged on Fox News, okay? Well, Fox News, there's only one cable channel that is conservative, okay? Some people say OAN as well. But the vast majority of our broadcast media out there, all except talk radio,
is going to be conservative, dude.
Is going to be leftist and going to misrepresent what conservative thought is. Conservatives are not afraid of good gun control laws. The NRA has been about background checks for a long time.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I gotta correct you on this one, dude.
What?
Only because, okay, One American News is described as a right-wing paid television news channel. They're definitely right-wing, man.
No, they're totally right wing, but I'm just saying they're not as influential because nobody watches them. I mean,
Oh.
their viewership is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, if I misspoke correctly, but I mean, OAN, like, nobody actually watches them. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's hard to say they're.
Someone does.
Whereas Fox News has a very large and broad viewership. So if I misspoke, I apologize.
I was just joking with you, man. I thought it was funny.
Okay, so anyway, I hope Yang's gun control talk doesn't alienate his fans on the right. No, I mean, dude, I'm when it comes to gun control, totally on the right. But I wish we would just get smart about this. I'm all for, on our driver's license, having you pass a test to show you know how to use a gun, like use a handgun, use a rifle, how to load it, how to keep it in a safe, so on and so forth. And I wish that it was just a classification on your driver's license that if you actually could prove you knew how to use it, okay, then you wouldn't have to wait 8 days to go pick up the gun. If my friends are going to go on a Friday to go to a shooting range and it's some cool range where there's a great shotgun shooting and I don't have a shotgun.
Shout out Louis Skills for real. Shout out, man.
Thanks, man.
$2. Shout out, man.
If I want to go buy a shotgun to go shotgun shooting with my buddies on Friday, I think it's so stupid that I got to wait 30 days, a cool down period, because California has this silly law where you can't pick up a gun 30 days later. If I have a license to carry that gun, then I think I should be able to just go buy a gun and walk out with it because I'm a responsible adult that has shown I know how to use it and show that I know how to take care of it. So I'm not going to be like the woman who has an unlocked gun in her house maybe she has.
The woman.
I was not saying something sexist. I was
joking,
referencing the woman inside of our.
Just joking, dude.
Oh, sorry to assume her gender in the first place.
Exactly.
But anyway,
joking,
I'm not going to be like the person that doesn't have the locked automatic or semi-automatic handgun in the house with a bunch of kids around. Okay, so anyway, conservatives do not.
I do
fear.
lack Modelo, Matthew. Sorry, $2 donation, Matthew Dominguez. Cody lacks Modelo, and only left-right news is online. That's a good point, man. Both those are great points, actually. A couple great points.
What? How Modelo's so important in your life?
Well, I wouldn't phrase it as so important in my life, but it's Saturday night, 5 p.m.
Tenzin Weiser says, I
Thank
like
you.
my Russians transparent like vodka. All right. Awesome. He likes them
Well,
transparent.
no, but I think one thing, I think we can agree on this. I think the thing that's kind of, and honestly, this is something, I don't know how people are watching like that, but dude, conservative voters better watch out. This is what happens, right? You have people on the left that say, not on the left, but other Democrats who are just, I think it's not unique to Democrats. In general, politicians right now seem to be very abrasive to other ideas. Like, they'll just be dismissive and rude to people all the time. So if you are someone who supports, who not supports, but is like a fan of the Second Amendment, and you hear Andrew Yang start talking about gun control, what you don't get is this, well, if it wasn't for all these stupid, dumb, idiot, awful, mean, evil people, like he says, like, look, like there are people in this country that own guns that are parents and they're, you know what I mean? Like, they're our neighbors and they do all this stuff. Like, we can't just demonize these people. And here's the thing. As soon as he says that, anybody who is more of a kind of like, who's opposite to him on that issue will soften to it immediately. Because they'll be like, oh, he's not saying I'm some evil, awful, crazy person. And they'll listen. Even if he can propose some of the most like draconian, like he can go like the Kamala Harris route. It's like, you know what? These people own guns and they're not bad people. I just want to sign an executive order to repeal the Second Amendment. And dude, a lot of people would hear that and go, wow, somebody finally just giving me a fair representation. So that's one of the reasons why Yang does so well with people on the right is people on the right, and it's not unique to that. I swear people on the left don't think they get fair representations from Republicans all the time. When they see a Democrat give what they feel like is a fair representation of their ideas, they are very receptive, and they go, hey, you know what? I'll actually listen to this guy. I like what he's saying. I like that he's being fair to me and my opinions. So that's why when someone said, do you think that answer will alienate people that are more on the right when it comes to guns? I was like, no, like, dude, there's nothing people in general, right, left, throw out the window. Nothing people in general appreciate more than when somebody actually kind of accurately represents them in their position. Now, Andrew Yang says some stuff where, like I said, he's more of an urban take on the firearm question than than a rural person does, than like a rural take. There's two different takes that are valid, but just refreshing for him not to say like, oh my God, these stupid evil people backed by these big donors. He does talk about the NRA, but in that response, he says like, look, like there are people that own guns that aren't bad people. Obviously, there's tons of them out there. So why don't we go to these people and say we want to help you make them safer? Even if people would disagree with that policy, the way he poses it and the way his opponents are a lot more abrasive than him, it makes people receptive, man. Like we see it all the time. A lot of people say, I am not a Democrat, but I would support Andrew Yang. I think that's why, because they see him, they see the disagreement, but they see Andrew Yang not disagree with them abrasively, but just kind of say, look, man, like I want to help. I understand your position. Let's move forward. And that means a lot, especially to people on the right love that. It means a lot to them. If someone disagrees respectfully, that's like their favorite thing.
So me, Madman says, go to the gun shows, cash and carry. I find that not to be the case. At least all the gun shows I've been to in California, law prohibits you can't just cash and carry. You have to wait 30 days. I've purchased firearms at gun shows, and all the same rules apply.
Linus Tech Tips shouted out.
That's just a Democrat talking point that there's some magical gun show loophole. Okay, Morgan Countess says being a responsible adult that makes you knows how to handle a gun doesn't make you immune from crimes of passion. Cardin. Well, yeah, you are immune to crimes of passion if you're just a rational human being, I believe. And
that's by definition, that's not true.
Yeah, but I don't know.
By definition of crimes of passion, it doesn't matter how
passion,
rational you are. That's a crime of passion, man.
But it's kind of like insanity, please.
No, it isn't.
I think
They're
people
real
say
things that happen.
they're insane when they're not, just because they know they can get away with it.
Hey.
And I think half these people say it was a crime of passion just because they want to generate more compassion from a jury.
What do I tell you is one of my favorite movies ever?
The movie where the lawyer says...
Anatomy of Murder, yes. Anatomy of Murder is literally about this. Ben Gazzara's character is accused of killing a man who sexually assaulted his wife, allegedly. And that's the defense he used in the film. He says he was temporarily insane. But motivated into a crime of passion.
Yeah, I don't have a desire to kill
as an otherwise
somebody.
sane adult. He didn't either until that happened. Then he had desire temporarily.
It's just like hypnosis, though. Like talk to any hypnotist, and they will tell you.
Passion or hypnosis.
Look, I'm not making a World War II reference here. You get tired of World War II references, and the second I make a hypnosis reference, it's a non-World War II reference.
Hypnosis.
You start talking. Well, listen. All the hypnotists will tell you, don't fear hypnosis because you will not do something that you subconsciously didn't want to do already. So if you don't want to do something like go, if my wife were to go get hypnotized and she doesn't actually want to cheat on me, she wouldn't go do something crazy and kiss another man on stage. She doesn't need to fear hypnosis because the hypnotist can't make her do something she subconsciously doesn't want to do. So I don't have a desire to go out and kill people. Okay, so I'm not, when I get pissed at them, just all of a sudden gonna go grab a gun. I do have a desire to defend myself.
No, but also like I think it's, like I said, like the way I understand it too is like the way that when like. I could be wrong. I guarantee you somebody knows way more about this than the chat room. But anyway, when it comes to legal issues, I don't think like they would think, oh, it's a crime of passion, you're home free. But they just look at a premeditated homicide differently from what would be considered the crime of passion because they know they're different. They know I'm going to go do X to Y and I planned it out and this is what I'm going to do is a lot different than you're in a scenario, someone things get heated and someone reacts too strongly. That is something people recognize. So I don't even know why we're talking about this. But anyway, I do think that is a legitimate thing. Like, dude, people do things that otherwise rational, sane human being. And I've heard people say this forever. Otherwise rational, sane human being is going to be motivated to do crazy stuff in moments of passion. So I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's pretty much like, yeah. That's true. That's the way it works. So I don't know.
So what's interesting here is we got another comment that I highlighted but then went away. Oh, yeah. Again, Hunter Van Hook says, not a training issue. People who conduct mass shootings or commit suicide clearly know how to use them. Lack of training is not a significant contributor to violence. That's false. Accidental violence. Violence is violence, whether or not it's accidental or purposeful. A lack of training is not a significant contributor to purposeful violence, but I think it's a significant contributor to accidental violence, which is the kind that the woman brought up to Andrew Yang when he was doing that interview and he said, can I go out and can I hug you? So I would just amend Hunter Van Hook's question or comment, but that's a good comment. And now let's go back down here. Matthew Dominguez. Holler at Matthew Dominguez. He says, on the point of training Americans to safely handle guns, we already train people around America that haven't had mental health tested former U.S. Marine Corps. Yeah. Now, bringing up the subject of mental health, a lot of people in the chat I've noticed has said, you should require mental health testing. I don't know exactly if mental health is a reason to you would have to very clearly define that, because I don't think mental health issues is a reason to suspend a man's constitutional right or a woman's constitutional right. Okay, I'm not going to say you don't have a right to free because you are dealing with depression. Okay, if you show signs of behavior that makes me think you would incite a riot and would have people in a crowded theater trample each other because you have a tendency to go out and yell fire, well, then in that case, I think that some kind of action is in order. But you have to be really, really careful, because who's defining mental health, and do you want Donald Trump to be defining mental health? Should Donald Trump be able to go out and say, "Oh, AOC is crazy"?
Well, the president should never be able to decide basically anything,
okay,
really.
But who? What council
It'd
isn't
be part of the
corruptible?
government, dude. It'd be part of the government.
Well, it's just like, would you feel comfortable with a council being
That's-
deciding who gets UBI?
No, but I'm just saying,
A council of psychologists,
but I'm
and the
just saying-
crazy people don't get UBI?
No, but I'm just saying is that, like, it's never the president. Like, it's never the president who makes that call.
You know what? Mark Garnett
People
brings up
say
a
stuff
really
but
good
it's not
point.
the president, dude. He's part of the government. He isn't the government.
Hold on,
He or
talking
she.
about humanity first. Mark Garnett just brought up a really good point. I just saw this flash on my feed. They're going so fast I couldn't see him. But he said adoption should not cost $30K plus. I would love to see what Andrew Yang's policy proposal is for adoption and foster care,
I think
because
he
I
has
am
it.
frustrated as crap that everybody's talking
Oh,
about.
shout out Matthew. Just think mental health overlooking. It is, dude. It's a good point. It really
Yes,
is.
no, Matthew, you are absolutely right, and that's part of the reason why I'm a huge fan of UBI, because I think we could go back to worrying about ourselves and our loved ones, and making the world a better place. I think we could address our mental health issues. Also, another reason why I don't want to make it so that you lose your guns if you get diagnosed with a mental health issue is I don't want a kid that needs help with his ADHD and might benefit from medication thinking I don't want to lose my ability to go purchase a gun by letting them diagnose me and not seeking help. I don't want somebody that's struggling maybe with early onset of paranoid schizophrenia or dementia or Alzheimer's or any of that. I don't want them. I don't want to keep them from going to get the help that they need because they're afraid of being able to exercise a constitutional right. I want them to feel empowered to go get help.
Okay.
So
yeah.
keep going.
No. So I think that's most of our probably thoughts on.
Yeah, but Dominguez, you're totally right, and that's something that I absolutely loved about our previous congressman, Steve Knight. He was a huge mental health guy. He was pushing great programs for getting mental health into our schools and to our high schools. I think we need to not just teach emotional help, but Gary V, his real name is Gary Vaynerchuk, I think it is, big time YouTube and Instagram celebrity, especially talking about how to get big businesses going, successful entrepreneurships going. And one of the things that he says, he himself talks about AI, saying, hey, get your company efficient. Good companies learn not to hire the right people, but to fire people. You don't have to worry about hiring faster. You need to worry about firing faster. And he also said the number one commodity, or the number one character trait that an effective entrepreneur is going to need in the 21st century is emotional intelligence, the ability to handle situations, because individual jobs will be able to be handled better by a robot, but positions won't be able to be held by robots. And the thing that will set you apart from the robots and make you a successful entrepreneur is your emotional intelligence. And to a certain extent, I think Andrew Yang is a perfect example of that. If you look at our chat, if you look at our following, this is a very diverse group of people. And I feel comfortable talking with the progressive Democrats in our feed. I'm okay with that. I probably make way too, I probably make way too many jokes against SJWs. You know what I'm saying? And they deserve it. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
But I make a lot of jokes, but I feel so much more comfortable talking to the most progressive Democrat SJW Yang ganger than I do other people in the political sphere, because I really feel that they have at least a humanity first approach to this, and they agree with me on so many of Andrew Yang's policy proposals, so much so that I think there's hope of coming together, and that's because I think Yang gangers are attracted to the emotional intelligence of Andrew Yang, and that's why he's able to cast such a wide net and bring in such a diverse group of supporters. 1/3 of the people at the Los Angeles rally when we were there and we interviewed them had previously voted for Donald Trump.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
It's something I always like to.
I got to fix that light.
I always like to. No, it should be fine. I fix
Go
it.
on you. No. You did. Shoot. Sorry.
Yeah, see, I'm slick. Do you even
Yeah.
notice, man?
All
No,
right.
but this is one thing that I think people talk about a lot in numbers, and I always like to kind of be clear. Of the people spoke to me in Cardin, yes, roughly probably a third of them had said they were supporters of Donald Trump in the last election. However, we know that we spoke to remember, speaking about small sample sizes, we didn't speak to everyone. So, it's left-leaning dudes pay for tacos. Thank you. Dude, we're gonna, don't worry. I'll put it on social media when we go and we get all of our tacos, and I'll have a little clip on Twitter of Cardin ordering in Spanish. You guys will see in real time the look on people's face when they realize, oh, we actually know Spanish, not just 2 or 3 words. But yeah. So anyway, I thought that was never mind, that was the wrong article. So yeah, so again, just getting back to, like I said, talking about kind of like what this week meant for the Andrew Yang campaign. That this viral moment, like I said, people who know I talk about Andrew Yang a lot, and I know about Andrew Yang, and I'm always talking about Andrew Yang. They're messaging me on my phone right now saying like, dude, did you just see that Andrew Yang thing? Like, oh my God, I'd never seen that before. Or I just saw this on TV, and oh my God, this is crazy. Speaking, of course, about the video about him reacting to the woman's comments about her children tragically, getting killed at the Las Vegas shooting. That's been a huge move, a huge just popularity boom. People seeing this human being in front of them actually showing empathy running for president really is really, I mean, as Cardinal was just talking about emotional intelligence, dude, like, yeah, talk about emotional intelligence. Like, he actually understood what she was saying and was able to relate with her right there. It wasn't that weird where they just kind of look and go, well, that's why it's so important you vote for me. It's like, what the hell, really? That's what you're gonna say? Not can I give you a hug? Oh my God, that's so tough to think about. I have kids myself, but instead it's, well, back to policy. I don't know. It's just weird, but that's been huge. And then you also see the amount of people now come. I saw the turkey leg. I want to throw a picture of a turkey leg, guys, but you also see a lot of Casey Neistat, famous YouTuber, Elon Musk, famous billionaire, everything, coming out in the last few days and proclaiming that they're for Andrew Yang. They believe in Andrew Yang. They're donating to Andrew Yang. They think Andrew Yang is the person to follow in this campaign. And I think one of the reasons why, great reason actually, I don't have the actual one, but this picture right here, it says Mr. Yang says this is like his 18th turkey leg. I'm a big fan of Renaissance fairs. You know who was a big fan of that tweet? Cardin? Do you know?
Yeah.
Who was a big fan of the tweet?
Dude, my mic's off. Okay, there we are.
Sorry, I kept trying typing. Sorry. Do you know though?
Of which tweet? I'm sorry, I got distracted by my mic being off.
The Mr. Yang says this is 18th turkey leg. I'm a big fan of the Renaissance fair.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, who?
Guess.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
In the meantime, Daniel Tice says Card in Spanish better than Beto's. Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh, it's better than every single
but
freaking
hey,
Democrat up there.
Who do you think was a big fan of the tweet? Going once, going twice.
Dude, I don't know who.
Little Ben Shapiro, Mr. Ben Shapiro.
Oh yeah, no, duh. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool.
We want to do a video. Actually, we really think one of our next videos is going to be Ben Shapiro's man crush on Andrew Yang. Explain.
They're definitely, he's a fan.
Because I got to tell you, it is well, I love Ben Shapiro. I listened to Ben Shapiro on AM 870, The Answer, when he was a know-nothing, like 21-year-old that looked like a 12-year-old, okay? He had to start out on radio because nobody would have thought he was anything but a minor as a married man, for heaven's sakes, okay? But I really like Ben Shapiro. Agree with 90% of what he says. He fits in with the Ed Koch 7 out of 8 rule as well. But it's hilarious seeing a guy that's considered a mainstay of the right, okay, so in love with an idea that many would consider so radical as UBI and Andrew Yang. Yeah.
1 second. Sorry, I'm pulling up right now in a second here. There is somebody who posted an image I thought was so. It's to your point again. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Oh no, I can't find it. Give me 1 second, guys. But it's so to the point of what you're talking about, how it is such a bit. When you look at the people who support Andrew Yang and what they say about Andrew Yang and who likes Andrew Yang and who, here we go. This was posted by Hollywood Yang Gang. If they made it, shout outs to them. If they didn't make it, and you do know who made it, please let me know. This is cool, man. I apologize for the delay, guys. I didn't have it queued up immediately, but this is a really, really, really cool picture. I think it really kind of sums up what we're just both talking about right here. And I remember that Tucker Carlson interview, the Anderson Cooper one was from like a few days ago. That Tucker Carlson one's from like 4 months ago. I remember that. I remember watching it on television. Yeah. I forgot where it was, and I heard Andrew Yang. I looked up on Tucker Carlson, and he said that, and I just was like, oh my God, like that's that's a pretty ringing, at least, endorsement of the ideas that were discussed. You know what I mean? And then Anderson Cooper, same thing, just being like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I like what I think I understand. That is one of the things about shout-outs. Digurity? God, man, I'm so bad with words.
Diguride.
That's not a bad one. Even if we elect Yang, we still have the House. Honestly, who gets it?
That's a little tribalistic.
Well, not even tribalistic, but yeah, it goes
We
both
need to
ways.
blood test them all, and then we won't have a House of Representatives. And
Blood audits.
Yeah, we need to blood audit them all.
Yeah, you never know, especially because sometimes some presidents can get stuff done in a. I think Andrew Yang. This picture actually. That's,
Thanks, Diguride.
First of all, of course, thanks for the donation. But dude, think about this though. I think this image is kind of, my response to that is like, I don't know, man. Like, there's people on the right who will hear things Andrew Yang proposes and say, you know what? Like, dude, Tucker Carlson's like legitimately like a thought leader in the conservative movement today, and he's sitting here saying, like, listen to this. I sit with my jaw open. I agree with you so strongly. I don't even know what you think on the other issues, and I just support what you said so much. This is the guy saying, like, I don't know a whole lot about you, but what you said was so on, man, I can't even. And then Anderson Cooper, I feel like I only understand about a quarter of what you're saying, but I find that quarter incredibly interesting. I mean, talking about not right, not left, forward, holy cow, man. Like, Anderson Cooper and Tucker Carlson hand in hand saying, this guy's got some great ideas. People ask, why do people watch this Andrew Yang guy? Why are Andrew Yang supporters so invested? Why do they come out on Twitter and defend him? I don't know. Maybe because he makes people feel like this, and that's what they want a president to make people feel like. Sorry, I'm done. But that... stuff like this, man, is why I think it doesn't matter who's in the House, doesn't matter who's in the Senate. If a movement got Andrew Yang to the White House, because he's still a longer than long shot, 2% polling-ish, more like 1.5, right? Longer than long shot. If he makes the move, like we're talking about, like this being one of the biggest political movements. People thought the MAGA movement was big. If the Yang math movement puts him in the White House, man, holy cow, he's one of the biggest political movements ever in American history. I mean, what a coup! You get a guy who's not in politics, not famous, he's rich.
By saying what a coup, you are supporting political violence, and you should be ashamed. And I blame all the violence that happened this week.
Most coups are bloodless. But anyway,
just kidding.
Like I said, I think that's my response to, like, dude, I don't think it matters who's in the House. I don't think it matters who's in the Senate. If the Yang movement picks up and takes over, dude, the movement took over. Like, it's not going to matter who's where. And also, if the Yang 2020 movement takes over, I think Democratic candidates nuzzling up to Yang will win and flip some districts. So that's really interesting.
So Caleb Stroll says, what? Since when is Ben Shapiro a UBI guy? Did I miss something?
He's not for UBI, no, but
no,
he respects Yang's perspective on it.
Yeah, if you watch the Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, no, the sit-down he did with them.
Yeah, well, man, you're not let me get there, dog. What happens is Ben Shapiro sits down with Joe Rogan and says, okay, Andrew Yang believes in the UBI. And he kind of thinks that, okay, not as good an idea as this, but he supports conversing about it. And then later on, he actually invites him on his show. And Corrales brings up a good point. He says, I think you should rewatch the Yang Shapiro interview. They both stand up from it as changed men. It was brilliant. I definitely feel
that was a big one.
And I get the feeling from Ben Shapiro that, look, I could deal with this guy. Like, this guy is on my level intelligently, and his heart is on my level emotionally, and that's what we need in leadership. It is okay if Ben Shapiro is thinking, okay, maybe not UBI, but definitely this. And if he respects Andrew Yang as an equal character in this theater of ideas, they can converse, and maybe a good idea will come out of it. Who knows? Maybe an even better idea than any of us thought of. Okay, but right now we've just got gridlock. We got gridlock. The two sides aren't talking because the two sides hate each other, and it's hilarious to see Ben Shapiro kind of fanboying it a little bit.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, well, big time. Can you pull up some of these memes that we've done? In our first Meme War video, there was the one with Ben Shapiro holding the money bag in front of the bank with a pink hat saying, like, secure the bag, you know?
I think he says now, oh my God. It's a play on the I'm pulling it up, guys. I'm pulling it up. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so hold on. I got to plug in my laptop or else I'm going to die here, and I don't want to die off the
What's up,
the
everyone?
feed.
So here we go. I'm going to pull up that thing. Oh, by the way, Sean Dowling, $2 donation. Gun owner and Yang supporter. Move this country forward. Exactly. Like I said, someone asked earlier, I think that's the greatest way of looking at it, is like, yeah, dude, like the way Andrew Yang talks about problems, I feel like even if I disagree with him on something I feel really strongly about, I don't feel like he's the kind of guy who's going to just pass policy I disagree with that much. It might not be what I thought would work, but he was elected president, and I'm doing a YouTube live stream, right? So like I respect his opinion and I respect our
Now,
differences of opinion.
Can we
so that's very
tease a
big.
little bit while we got?
Well, I got this thing, and it's the okay now. This is 1,000. Okay.
Okay. Well, we also never we didn't play the first part of our
Okay, now this is $1,000. If anyone knows, oh God, I'm such a fool. Shout outs, Instagram at Yang4Prez was the creator of this meme. Holy cows, make me laugh. People don't know the origins of it. Ben Shapiro had a tweet that said, okay, this is epic. A lot of people joke about him on it because he's kind of like, that's the joke. And okay, this is $1,000.
Now,
Really
big shout out to Matthew Dominguez. He just gave us another donation, another contribution. It says break partisanship with tacos. Dude, maybe we should just throw a taco party. Like, in all honesty, what if we just had one of our shows in a park in LA? Okay, and we just set it up because we have tried to make actually a traveling set, and that's one of the things we're working on building. If we just could do it in like a park in LA, and just have tacos, that would be sick. We're gonna have to name our next camera Matt. He's like single-handedly paying for our next camera. So anyway, Hunter Van Hook says, I have a folder of Yang memes I can share. Dude, let's do it. That's awesome.
Hey, dude.
And we really
at
do.
PSP Radio 1 on Twitter. Send them over, man.
Yeah, and we really do, like, all joking aside, all tribalistic digs aside and everything like that, we really do want this to be a place where we have an open court of ideas. That's why we named the show Problem Solver Politics, is so that we have equal representation of all thought processes here. We've invited the guy that's going to be starting the Super PAC onto our show. He's got to get back to me on my text too. And we're going to be also talking with the head of the BYU Democrats about Andrew Yang and the support in Utah, especially amongst members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is, believe it or not, if they were a cohesive voting bloc, would be the third largest voting bloc in the United States of America.
Live over Yang, you think? That's a video, actually. Hold on.
Dude, I'll tell you right now.
Spoilers. That's an upcoming video, dude.
If Mormons, we're not supposed to say Mormons now, we're supposed to say members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but it's a freaking mouthful, so we say Mormons still anyway. But if members of the church knew more about Andrew Yang, unfortunately, Christians in general, only about 45% of them vote, okay? And they're generally values voters, which is good. But I would really be curious to see how Christians react. In fact, I'm friends with a couple of pastors in town that are in charge of some churches. We're going to invite them on, and we're just going to pitch them on UBI and see what their first initial reactions are. I almost want to see what they think without knowing about it. We'll have one study out UBI before he comes on, and the one not study it out before they come on. And another one, she's a genius. We definitely got to get them involved and see what they think from a Christian perspective, or from an LDS perspective. You want to point something out that hashtag Elon for Yang is trending? Is that what I see there?
And this is something, and I'm not saying this as a, hold on one second. Give me 1 second to put the button.
And you got to shout out Kev New.
Shout out.
I think we got another Vietnamese guy in the house. What's up, Kev? How you doing, man?
Okay, hold on.
Yang game is global. I see some comments from other countries want him as their president.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Like I said, dude. Like I went through a few.
Can a
minutes
U.S.
ago.
citizen be a president of another country? Like, if you were just so popular,
Depends on the law. Anyway,
like if Argentina wanted me to be their president, I'd do it for like 4 years.
Oh yeah, do it. If some of a country came to me and said, "Please be our president," I'd be like, maybe, dude. How are you paying, right? Anyway, it looks like how about Elon for Yang is trending above the New England Patriots preseason game. I'm not exactly sure.
Get out of town.
If the game starts at 7 Pacific, and that's why. But anyways. It's moving up. I think this is one thing, though, I think is really important to point out. I'm not saying this is like a dig at anyone, but I see a lot of times when Andrew Yang stuff happens, a lot of people say, oh, Andrew Yang is trending on Twitter. Andrew Yang will always be trending for you on Twitter, because a lot of you guys are big Andrew Yang fans. There actually is like an actual global ranking trend, and for the most part, that's really hard to break. Like, it's like love song, hashtag, like, dude, that's a lot more general. You just put
hashtag hell is real. Oh, that is funny.
Yeah. But you see what I mean? Like,
right above Clinton's side.
Oh yeah, well, someone asked about that.
Oh, we never talked about
how
Epstein.
much time do you want? I was trying to keep this a good week for Andrew Yang. I have to admit, dude, it was one of the, I guess this is a good way to lead into it. One of the most surreal moments in a while was I wake up and I go to YouTube, I check my YouTube account, and I see there's a bunch of videos. Carden, are you familiar with Cody Johnston?
Maybe I'd have to see his face.
I believe I'm thinking of the right person.
Peter
right person.
R. Shout out, brother. He says if Andrew Yang got elected, it would change the world. I think you're right.
Oh, big time, dude.
Yeah, and that's actually why we love talking about a lot of his policies. Here's something interesting. Shannon Bird. Okay, so Shannon's been... Now, I think Shannon's a dude. I think it's one of those like Renee or Courtney. I got a friend that's a dude named Courtney. I'm pretty sure Shannon's a dude.
Hey, how about Ashley from Evil Dead?
Yeah. I was here for Ron Paul presidential run. Yep, boom. Right there with you, bro. I wrote in Ron Paul. In California, dude, it sucks. We were asked about like voting for Yang and things like that. Me and Cody, who knows if we're even going to have the opportunity, because big question is
No, they moved it up to Super Tuesday for California. You're not going to be voting.
Well, yeah, but it's our very, very first time. And the question is, will he make it to Super Tuesday? That's why a lot of these debates and all that other stuff is so important and so on and so forth. So I really haven't put any mental thought towards it. But I definitely agree with Shannon Bird. I remember voting for Ron Paul. I didn't vote Republican that election. I actually voted Libertarian. The Yang Gang rung feels so similar, he says. People in other countries supporting, and all of it is so similar. I just want a different outcome for Yang.
Yeah, hopefully, man.
Yeah. Gabriel Sutherland, are you Christian? I'm a beautiful Christian. What did the Bachelorette say last night? Jesus still loves me.
To be frank,
My wife watches religiously.
Yeah,
The
I was
Bachelorette.
gonna say, I'm way out. I know
So-
nothing about it, unfortunately.
Brian Diaz, Ron Paul got screwed over big
Tacos
time.
break barriers.
Yeah, kinda true.
For tacos, Matt. Thank you so much,
Dude,
Matt. I appreciate it so
Matt,
much.
thanks, brother. Matt's gonna have to be like an honorary co-host one of these
Yeah,
times.
well, because of him, we're just gonna be a bunch of pictures of tacos on our Twitter feed for the next like week.
Yeah, for real. Mark Garnett, I voted Ron Paul. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think that's a really, really interesting question. What percentage of our audience self-identifies as what? We had a couple of guys say, I self-identify as a progressive Democrat. Here we have a lot of guys that were Ron Paul people. I was huge on Ron Paul. I really like Rand Paul a lot. There's only been a couple of times where I thought, okay, Rand, you're going a little bit too far this time. You know,
When he voted against the healthcare, that was weird. I was like, oh, a couple people voted against the 9/11 responder bill. I wonder who it was. Like Rand Paul. And of course, again, it's like principled. Like I'm just saying the money should. And that's a bad example. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, that principled. Like the money should be spent differently. And I'm like, I get it, dude. But this is one of those ones where it's like, maybe it's okay to be fiscally irresponsible here. The government is almost always fiscally irresponsible somewhere. Maybe in healthcare for 9/11 first responders, we could afford to be a little fiscally irrational there. And then we get other parts where we could be a little more rational. I just thought it was funny. He sticks to his a rational
he's
fiscal
such a
policy.
purist.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even if it means I'm going up against the first responders that are, actually terribly suffering from, long-term effects of doing something they told wouldn't give long-term effects, but you know what I mean? But like, it's just hilarious. He sticks to his principles to the point of like, no, I will go against this and look like the biggest douche of all time. But that's my perspectives, Shoot, you guys discovering my real agenda. I'm on to you, man. I'm on to you, Matt. Can't get away from me forever, man.
It's his agenda. Taco Tuesday is his agenda.
I self-identify as human.
Mainstream Monday.
That's a good one.
And then Wiki Wednesday and Throwback
Guys,
Thursday.
we'll do like I'll do like a poll on. Oh, can I do? Sorry, I'm just learning a lot about how all this YouTube stuff works. I'm gonna do a poll here. I wish I could do a live poll somewhere. Maybe on Twitter. I don't know.
This is so interesting. Alan Vochinsky says, honestly, though for the real, I think it might have mistyped. If we don't start phone banking, it's going to be hard to win. MSNBC isn't giving him a fair shake. We need to pick up the slack and have a chance. I wholeheartedly agree that the DNC is not taking Andrew Yang seriously. I think they're starting to, just barely, but they haven't from the beginning. And MSNBC and chosen who they like. And they are holding on with an iron grip to their little fiefdom. Ever since the television was invented, we have never had the lesser of the two attractive candidates win. Okay, that's just a scientific fact. Okay, and the media is throwing a temper tantrum with Trump because it's the first president in which they have not controlled the conversation. Okay, if you're a TV producer, and you don't like a candidate, fine, you don't even give him airtime. You misrepresent him when you edit all of his stuff. You lambast him and run only negative stories out of him, about him or her. People don't realize just how much the media controlled the political conversation until Donald Trump came in. And sure, I don't like half of his tweets, and I don't think he speaks presidentially in a lot of those tweets. But at the end of the day, I love that he disrupted the fourth branch of government and got rid of the stranglehold
Whoa.
that the media had on the political conversation. If Fox News wasn't treating him fairly, he said, "Forget your debates. I'm not even going. Your ratings are gonna tank, and I'm gonna go hang out with the vets." I'll get with you in a second, Cody. And then if CNN wasn't treating him right, screw you. You say something false, I'm actually just gonna go out and tweet about it, and I will actually views of my tweets than you have viewers of your show. So I love that he interrupted that fourth branch of government. Cody, what are you trying to say?
Well, someone brought up something very interesting. This is getting back to we were talking about kind of Andrew Yang and the international interest in the Andrew Yang campaign. I believe it's a Hunter Van Hook, and he said he tried to phone bank. It was just too difficult, but this guy was going to phone bank via VoIP from Germany, man. Like, dude, the Andrew Yang movement is crazy to me when I see how it penetrates all across the entire globe. Like I said, I'll try to pull it up again. I was reading through just the countries that we have, at least 1,000 views from, and dude, it's like we're hitting most of the big continents. Like this Andrew Yang interest and support and movement, guys, is not. It's interesting to me because it's one of the things you have to be kind of careful about in an American election, right? You have to make sure you get an American support as well as all the other support. But holy cow, man, the ease of which he seems to be able to win people over when they see him is kind of astonishing. Like it really is. A lot of people say I saw him once and holy cow. Register them and vote Yang in primaries to win. Dorothy Page, and then
shout out Dorothy, thank you Dorothy, and did you ride?
Yes, I think it has been asked. Do a stream phone session.
Oh, actually, we were going to try
thinking about doing something like that. Yeah, I want to get the the hardware stuff set up so it doesn't crash on us. But
yeah, we're drilling holes in the wall of our studio in order to run Cat 6 cables and so on and so forth.
Interesting story about Cat 5 and Cat 6.
Yeah, that's true. We actually had to upgrade to a Cat 6 system because you can do 10 gigs of information per second or whatever it is instead of 1. But gosh, what was I talking about, man? It was so important. It was right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, we're talking about phone baking. Oh yeah, and how MSNBC isn't giving him a fair shake. I think it's only now that the DNC is starting to consider him and take him seriously. And MSNBC, no, they want their Elizabeth Warren. They want their Bernie Sanders. CNN wants its establishment Joe Biden or its, break the glass ceiling, have another African-American candidate, Kamala Harris, identity politics candidate, okay? It's obvious that MSNBC has their top 2 and CNN has their top 2, and all the other mainstream media channels and the broadcast media channels and the FCC licensed channels are all falling in line except for talk radio. So I do believe it behooves the Yang Gang to be out there phone banking, to be out there pushing the product, pimping the product, doing the Yang thing, because that's the only thing that's going to get attention. You got to do it for yourselves, man. I mean, in a free market system where a vote is $1, if you want to raise money, you're going to have to phone bank and phone sell. So robocalling ain't going to work. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be real. It's got to be authentic. And if you are near the Los Angeles area, we would gladly see if we couldn't coordinate to come and show up and do either some kind of live stream or some kind of video on what it's like to phone bank for Andrew Yang. That'd be actually way cool. So I'm totally down for that. Anyway, thanks again, DigiRide. You're awesome. And the Cory Booker
I love
online
this one,
meme
dude. Yeah,
is
again,
hilarious.
shout out Jeff Shinobi. I'm sure a lot of people watching are familiar. He has a lot of funny work on Twitter, and this one, I love this one. Dude. Well, like I said, though, this is the kind of stuff I love to see, though. Human moment. We talked about. I know a lot of people in chat are not Cory Booker fans, and I can understand perhaps that. But like I said, I don't know. Anybody who runs into a burning building to save someone, dude, like, unless you're like the biggest sociopath, like mega like, egomaniac ever, you just feel like I am the person who could. I am so, you know what I mean? I have to imagine you're just a good human being. So I just love that, in general, the exchange, and then the pretty fun little edit. But, Cory Booker and Andrew Yang, man, they I think he was actually asked on the H3H3 podcast, like, what is it like running into other candidates? Or maybe it was elsewhere, and it was just kind of refreshing. Yang's like, look, we all respect each other. We all know what we're doing. Like, we all know it's tough. We have to be away from our families. We all know all this stuff, so we don't want to, take it lightly. And we kind of have a mutual level of respect because of it, dude. I think that's really cool. Like, this idea that the candidates do have a mutual respect for each other, because I mean, dude, imagine being on the road for like 9 months in the year, dude.
Yeah, Jeff Shinobi is in here. That's pretty exciting. Defang Duana, Trump will win in a landslide for the first time since the Civil Rights Act if Kamala is running. I don't know exactly if that's true. Ronald Reagan won in a massive landslide. Well, first off, JFK was during the Civil Rights era.
I agree with the sentiment. Kamala will lose bad. I agree with that sentiment. I don't think she's going to win the presidency.
JFK was a landslide, and that was the Civil Rights era. Ronald Reagan won like 49 out of 50 states for his reelection, and that was not the, quote, Civil Rights era. It's the 80s.
Hold up. You see what Andrew Holman just said? That's an awesome idea, dude.
What?
He said he's working to get airplane banners in the sky during the football season. I guess over stadiums? That's a really cool idea.
Andrew, reach out to us at pspradio1@mail.com, I believe it is, right?
On Twitter, at pspradio1, easiest way.
Dude, we will see if we can't do a little mini doc and the making of that banner. We'll try and come out to you where you are. Because I'm in the EAA, my friend. I'm in the Experimental Aircraft Association.
Woohoo, aliens.
And most of those planes that pull the banners are experimental aircraft that have somehow been modified in order to do that, so they have experimental licenses.
Hold up. Sorry, guys. I forgot to... I'm going to do a live poll really quickly. Just give you really quickly. I'm going to set it up on Twitter. I'll have the Twitter link. And basically, we're going to just be... I'm going to have it... No, hold up, guys. It's going to be set up very, very, very generally, but don't get too hung up on the labels. It's just very generally conservative, liberal, or moderate. It's all I'm going to put on there. Yeah. It's not going to be anything too crazy.
So back to whether or not to win a landslide.
Yes.
I do believe and the reason why is it's not to but you have an identity politics candidate, and that does not work outside of the intersectional left. And most Americans are problem solvers. That's why I was attracted, as the host of Problem Solver Politics, to Andrew Yang, and he's the only person that actually consistently uses the term problem solver. So I think if Biden gets the election, I think it's going to be establishment versus non-establishment again. I don't think Trump will win in an absolute landslide, because the trust for Biden as having been Barack Obama's vice president, I think will be high, and it'll be less of a landslide. But if Kamala's in there, oh my gosh, it is going to be a bloodbath. And I don't think it's going to be good for the country, because the only thing she's going to do is get the left super angry at the right and deepen the racial divide and say that, all these Trump supporters are racist. It's going to be an absolute crap show, a clown world crap show. If it's Andrew Yang, though, it's going to be a conversation, where we talk about actual issues such as life expectancy, such as the opioid epidemic, such as how we can prepare for automation. I actually think Donald Trump is more open to a conversation with Andrew Yang than pretty much any, except for maybe Delaney, than pretty much any other person on that stage.
You love Delaney, dude.
No, it's not that I love Delaney. It's just that Delaney's willing to go up against his own.
All the time. I love it, dude.
Well, because he's the only other one that'll go up against his own.
Delaney's still in the chat. Mike Gravel really ran specifically for that. Anyway, guys, I just put the thing on Twitter, the poll on Twitter. I'm going to post the link right here. Again, the category is really vague. It's just conservative, liberal, independent, or moderate. Like, the idea just being like, I don't want to get too specific or technically, but like, you know what I mean? Just generally speaking, where did you lean? I think it'd be fascinating to see where the Yang Gang, and if you could, of course, always help to retweet and spread it. I'd love to get a larger sample size. We love talking about sample sizes on this show. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We can get a good idea of, just like you said, exactly how you guys
Dude, Gift Shinobi's getting some serious love.
Of course, dude. Like I say, he's on Twitter all the time. He's hilarious, man. He's a lot of funny stuff.
Yeah, we posted a lot of his stuff, too.
I'm not going to call him Jurassic Park gifts. Oh, God, I always say it wrong. But that Sam Neill ones I loved, because I'm a big Sam Neill fan. Honestly, it would be interesting to see that moment in Trump and Yang. Yang finally gets to the point where Trump has to, like, actually start, like... Knowing Trump, I feel like he'd be originally, like, just... dismissive, like, that Andrew Yang guy, he wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. Well, what does he know? You know what I mean? But that'll be an interesting start, man. I mean, hey, we'll see if he responds to, I'll bring it back up again, but we'll see if he responds to what the Yang campaign tweeted out earlier today. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If he responds to that, we're getting closer to the moment. Like Donald Trump, he just called out Joe Biden 2 hours ago on Twitter. That first Donald Trump tweet that has Andrew Yang's name in it, that's going to be a cool moment. Whenever it happens.
We got two good comments here. Carly Gooch says, guys, can you talk about the Bitcoin super PAC? Sure. We'll definitely be able to talk about that.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then also Android Entity says, yo, remove the tie. It's anti-Yang Gang. No,
forgot.
I
Yeah,
need.
He was not a tie wearer. Man.
I need
Not
a
a
suit
fan.
coat. And I lost my suit coat when I was at my conference. So I need to get another suit coat and then I could take off the tie. But in the absence of a suit
Like a
coat,
sports
I
coat, you
need
mean?
the tie. Yeah, a sport coat. Sorry. So in the absence of a blazer or a sport coat, I need to keep the tie on. You know what I'm saying? It's not anti-Yang gang. It's just you can fool people if you're well dressed, I guess. But you know what? Actually, on the next super chatter, if they want me to remove my tie, I will gladly remove my tie. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
I will
oh my
gladly
God.
remove my tie
I think
if the
it
next
was-
super chatter demands it.
I think it was what's his name? Who posted
Because I care
this?
more about getting that camera than I do my vanity.
God, I lost it, man. Whoever posted that meme, I just put on the screen, dude. Holy cow, that is my cup of tea right there. That is hilarious to me. Once we're secure in the bag, I can quit my job and rap about Harambe. Dude. Shout outs to Bombay Sapphire, by the way. Oh my God, that's
Hey,
hilarious.
Kevin says you have to add to the Twitter poll libertarian and progressive.
If that's what I mean. If of those three kind of general descriptions, none apply to you. Just select the fourth one. None.
Card never said he said which tacos he ordered at Trucks.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Matthew. What do you actually order? I'm an Al Pastor guy.
You are?
Oh yeah, I love Al Pastor. It's really good.
I just like the regular, not the shredded beef, but I like steak tacos. Just regular steak tacos. The
So I guess
simpler
you
the
don't
better.
order in Spanish.
And I say, quiero un taco normal con carne, you know, and they'll be like, okay.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? And then they get all excited.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great point,
With
man.
horchata. Dude, I'm an horchata fan.
Oh, it's a lot of sugar for me. Someone got a great point. And on the last debate only, Yang should wear a U.S. flag tie around his head like a bandana. Oh, my God. That would win some votes, man. That would win some votes. It's a little bit dangerously close to being the guy with the lampshade on your head, but at the same time, like, dude, I would. That's one thing I think would be a really cool thing. I really want to see thank you, Brian. There. I want to see a return to bipartisan acceptance of not blind patriotism, but just like, kind of, like I'm the president of America. Woo, you know what I mean? Like just more like surface level general patriotism, because it's something we can all kind of enjoy and bond together over. And then you can have real criticism of the nation. That's a different issue. You know what I mean? But I love the idea of being able to come together and do that. Have you had a chance to play the new Toe Jam and Earl? I have not had a chance yet, no.
Okay, Morgan Countess.
I'd love to play it. I have not yet.
Mira, loco, yo hablo español mejor que Beto. Cualquier persona que hable español sabe lo mismo, así que no te preocupes, okay? Morgan Countess says, I'm not sure that Cardin speaks Spanish better than Beto.
Oh, yeah. I think
it's
you do.
horrible.
I think you do.
Dude, all of their Spanish is horrible, okay? Except for maybe Julian Castro, because I think he's actually a native speaker. But anyway.
From San Antonio. Or no, somewhere in Texas, I think it's close to the border.
So what's interesting here is a couple of our chatters have suggested that, you're right, not everybody's on Twitter. Please, if you can, we oftentimes talk.
Nah, you're right. I got a good idea. Sorry, dude.
They said maybe let's use Survey Monkey or...
I'll do, I think it was a straw poll.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go straw poll. Yeah, it'll be the same poll. This will be specifically for you guys. So anyway, sorry, give me a minute. Set it up.
Yeah, so why don't you set it up, and let's just make sure we ask, what would you say your political persuasion is? We got to have regular...
I had it listed as what was your... Before you came to Andrew Yang, how did you define how would you consider yourself politically?
Yeah, so we got to make sure that there's libertarian, progressive...
Well, I don't want to have 50
conservative, liberal, moderate. There, 5. That's 5 within the spectrum. I think that's fair.
Okay, well...
Want
to do it? I'm just kidding. I'll do it.
No, I don't even know how, man.
Okay, we'll do it.
I've never done the straw poll. You're the one that always did the straw polls. I mean, I can figure it out, but I've
never
done it.
I got it ready. Just give me 1 minute and I'll have it up for you guys.
Okay. So, anyway, on the last debate, only Yang should wear a U.S. flag around his head like a bandana. I got to say, I wonder if that would work or if it would hurt him as a presidential candidate, what the strategy behind that would be. But I've also thought maybe Marianne Williamson should bring some of her crystals. You know what I'm saying? And maybe just bless the audience or bless the debate. And also, I'm actually really liking Marianne. The more I get to know her, she is awesome. If Andrew Yang wins the presidency, he needs to put her in his cabinet. All right, to be the secretary of soul searching. You know what I'm saying? And I know we all mock it, but the truth is, I honestly, that's one of the reasons why I love UBI. And Elon Musk even said this. He said, I don't think that we're going to do UBI because we want to, but because we're going to reach a point in which we have to. And then the question is going to be a deeper question than just how do we fund our lives, but where do we get meaning? From where do we derive meaning? I mean, and as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints myself, I see there's an inherent value of work. And even Elon Musk recognized that. He said, so many people are getting their identity and their sense of self-worth out of their work. What happens when that work is no longer needed by your society?
I just posted the poll in the comment section, guys. So if you,
please, let's all go take this.
I'll show the poll results from this one, I think, on the stream. The other one, I guess, will just be more general and general Yang Gang, but specifically to you guys on the stream. Please go to that straw poll and you can answer.
All right. So I'm struggling between conservative and libertarian, my man.
Conservative and libertarian.
I know.
I'm all for
us Ron Paul people.
I'm all for whoever
that.
doesn't like the government the most. That's what you want to win.
That's the libertarian.
You want to win me over? Talk about it. The government doesn't work. It doesn't get anything done. It
That's
bleeds
libertarian
money.
right
Nothing
there.
ever works.
I clicked on libertarian, dude.
I can't stand libertarian.
Really?
I apologize to any libertarians in the chat. I do not mean to be rude. Every time I just have the vision in my head. It's like a lightning bolt that strikes me.
But see, look,
of the guy at the Libertarian Convention saying, I do not think we should be selling heroin to 8-year-olds and getting booed. Because that's the thing about libertarianism, man. Like, it attracts people that are just like, freedom, absolutely. And it's like, okay, like, you know what? You know why we this is the one thing I always joke about libertarians. I'm like, you know what? If we got rid of the government, people would probably just get together and say we need to make a government. Just because, like, dude, like, it's the classic this George Carlin line. Like, think of how stupid the average person is, and think of that half the people in the world are dumber than them.
Can you
right?
go
like,
to the straw poll and just show it? Because it repopulates in real time. This is intriguing to me.
Oh, yeah. 1 second. Let me pull it up.
Okay? I'm watching this happen, and look at these slices and how totally, completely, almost uniform they are and broad they are. Now, obviously, we got the 34%. What did I tell you? How there is 1/3 of America that's always going to vote against you.
Did I spell that wrong, by the way? I think I did. Sorry, guys. Independent.
Well, and libertarian you spelled wrong, but people got the point.
Shout out my libertarians, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
So anyway, but look at this, dude. Remember how I said there's a third, and a third? So there's 33.33% that will always vote for you, 33.33% that will never vote for you, and there's that middle third. Look, we have 34. Now it just repopulated 35% of the people that they were independent. There is that 1/3. Exactly. 1/3 of our pie chart, just like I said, is that independent.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Independent 1/3.
Big time.
And then, I mean, we're not straying more than 3 or 4 percentage points between just traditional. I mean, this is the most wide and diverse crowd. I wish every single presidential candidate out there right now would say, who do you,
dude, jeez.
like would just show who their followers are. Like Tom Steyer would not have this pie chart. Kamala Harris does not have this pie chart. Kirsten Gillibrand does not have this pie chart.
I would like to meet in real life a Tom Steyer voter. I just would love to meet someone who's like, I suppose Tom Steyer. Like, really? Fascinating, man. Absolutely fascinating. Why is it you support Tom Steyer for president? Because, hey, maybe, man, he's got some great ideas I don't know about. I think it's hilarious.
I will do it,
and
we will make a video.
I support the billionaire guy. That's why I support.
We will make a video on this. I will get a sign, a big fat sign that says honk if you support Tom Steyer, if you will vote for Tom Steyer.
For president, yeah, exactly.
For president. And I will sit on the freeway entrance next to my house, and we'll just video and see how many honks we get. And then we'll just see how many honks you get for Andrew Yang. That will be our straw poll. We're going to do an official honk poll.
Oh, in Los Angeles, Andrew Yang's going to destroy him.
Yeah, I don't even know if, I don't know, Tom Steyer. I don't trust
if you want to vote, sorry guys, let me post the link again. Just go to this link.
Yeah, post the link one more time.
You don't have to sign up for anything as far as I know. You just click on it, and there you go, guys. And here we go. Let's go to some more real-time updating. I'm going to refresh it again, though, just to make sure actually I'm getting all of you guys in. I am. Cool. So it looks like the independents are beating the libertarians. Dude, I gotta get like a thesaurus or like a dictionary or something, man. I am just not.
Yeah, you threw some serious shade on the libertarians, man.
I'm not trying to throw shade on libertarians. Just my perspective on the libertarian thing, man.
By the way, Tom Perez is the chair of the Democrat National Committee, bro. I just looked it up on Wikipedia.
That's so weird. I typed in, you know why he's the chair? I typed in like the head of the DNC.
Yeah. So Jesus
The head
Zamora,
of the DNC, yes. The Democratic National Committee CEO is who I was speaking of.
So Jesus Zamora says something interesting. He says,
Oh,
progressive and Citizens United. You want to know what, dude? I know
Democracy dollars are a workaround for Citizens United. That's how it's
I know
intended.
plenty of conservatives that question the Citizens United thing too. That's not a progressive thing. Once again, that's just the characters that CNN and MSNBC put out there about conservatives. And I'm 50-50 on the fence. I see how the philosophical arguments presented by Citizens United, both in the affirmative and against it, could be disastrous. So the democracy dollars is a really interesting idea that Kirsten Gillibrand interestingly ripped off. Then he says, end the wars. Are you kidding me? Like, Tucker Carlson's a huge anti-war guy. Like, right now, the biggest guy in the mainstream media criticizing the wars that all of the elitists consistently go to make money, I view right now as being Tucker Carlson. So I don't know if progressives are the most anti-war. I think the anti-war crowd is in and of itself just its own thing. Free college, that would be disastrous. We have way too many kids going to college, and we're indebting a nation just so that the U.S. government can make money off interest of student loans. Don't think that's a good idea. Student loan forgiveness, don't know if I'm on board with that yet because, for example, I paid off my student loans. I paid off $75K of student loans. Why should the loser that didn't pay them off get it all? I think trying to make it more affordable is, yes, a progressive idea. And for a net neutrality, I'm definitely a net neutrality guy. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jesus Zamora, on that one. Prison reform, yes. I'm not absolutely against private prisons because I think oftentimes private prisons can handle things better. But the truth is the private prison system has been wildly abused and has incentivized putting people in prison. And you really do have to question if somebody is economically incentivized to take away their freedom. There's something wrong with that system. So I'm 50-50 on that one. Legalize weed. Yeah, absolutely. I gave medical marijuana to my daughter. I'm a huge medical marijuana fan. You know what I'm saying? And UBI, I don't know. It's difficult to say that a progressive or a Democrat is UBI person when the only person that's actually effectively passed it in U.S. politics was Richard Nixon, a Republican, under consultation from Milton Friedman, the firebrand of conservative economic thought, worshipped by libertarians and Reaganites. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with Jesus' semantic argument, but I see where he's going, and I definitely appreciate the comment, my man.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I just got this. I just got sent this over on Twitter. Want to make sure actually.
So this is really hilarious. Defong Duwana says, I'm a conservative, but not really Republican. I can respect that. Alice4444 says, damn, libertarians represent, because there was a lot of libertarians in there. This is awesome. So obviously we got Jesus, total progressive. We got Defong, conservative. We've got Alice, libertarian.
I don't say it's a total progressive, but
and then Mark Garnett, who says I might have to go buy some tacos now. You know what I'm saying? So we got a Tacotarian here.
I hope
okay?
everyone's looking for tacos, man.
Yeah, so we got a Tacotarian here. This just goes to show the absolute uniqueness of the Andrew Yang campaign, because nobody else is throwing up numbers like this. Like, literally just within 5 out of 5 chats of self-identification here, we're getting the most solid diversity I've ever seen in my life. And Alan Voshinsky brings up an idea that conservative is an ideology, Republican is a party. Yes, that's true. That's another semantic argument for a totally different day, but yes, I know what you're talking
but
about.
that's true. There is the Republican Party, right? It's not the Conservative Party. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Holistic Hottie. Oh, wow. You go, girl.
Oh, by the way,
assuming it's a dude. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it's some dude.
Really quickly, I have the Twitter numbers for Social Blade numbers for Andrew Yang's official Twitter account.
Okay.
It looks like we clearly have not seen the bump from the Elon Musk thing. I mean, he's trending like 23rd on Twitter. It's going to be a bump. But you could see, it looks like right around the debates, he gained 50,000 plus followers immediately. I would expect to see another 15, 20. So you could see he gains followers at a pretty steady clip. I like how he does follow a couple people a day.
So here's some really good comments. Holistic Hottie. You a dude or a girl? I'm assuming you're a girl, because I love the Holistic Mamas group in my town. They're cool. But free tuition for STEM, I could agree with. Now, that's interesting. Free tuition for STEM, because I really think sometimes STEM are some of the only degrees that actually require a college degree. I think we need a lot more vocational licensing and vocational training and a cultural acceptance and a push towards that kind of training. But free tuition for STEM, that's interesting. Shannon Bird says, why do you think we go to the war in the first place? That's hilarious. And then Mark Garnett says, I finished paying off my college, not a fan of paying for everyone else's now. That's so true. It's that age-old saying that says, if you're below the age of 30 and you're not a liberal, you have no heart. If you're above the age of 30 and you're not conservative, then you have no mind. Things change on your opinions of taxes when you're the one starting to pay taxes. And things change on your opinions of free tuition when all of a sudden you're the one paying tuition. And that's also why I think UBI is such a unique idea and so important a thing to consider. There was another comment that I had actually responded back in writing where somebody had said Medicare for all plus UBI equals win. And I would even push back on that a little bit and say, what about health savings account, universal health savings account, which is similar to UBI, but just meant for medical bills, which would introduce competition into the market, which would drive pricing down, making medical services a lot more affordable. How about instead of trying to find a way to tax and spend an overly expensive system, why don't we find a way to compete and lower the prices and create an affordable system that everybody can afford with a UBI meant just for medical services, which would be equivalent health savings account. So I really would love to see what health savings account ideas. Anyway, we're going to have to go here pretty soon, guys. So any last questions you got, make sure you, Make sure that you throw them out right now. Here's one last one that we can end with. Do you guys know Yang's position on crypto? Mishap says this. Do you guys know Yang's position on crypto? How do you think he would handle the prophesied economic collapse? You guys got to watch our video on Bitcoin. We actually did a whole entire policy video about, I'd say, 4 weeks ago?
Maybe a month.
It was maybe a month ago about Andrew Yang's policy on Bitcoin. And he actually, I believe, wants to regulate it a little bit.
Yeah, but most people in Bitcoin want regulation, so it's legitimized and it can be used. And when it's the wild, wild, wild west with absolutely zero regulation, it really doesn't. People are afraid to use it, you know. So that's
here's a good one.
That's
to
the
end
argument
on.
I saw. It's a pretty good argument.
Here's a good one to end on right now. Sean Dowling says, at Problem Solver Politics, which Yang policies do you think Trump might actually agree with? A whole lot of them. First off, starting with the freedom dividend, Trump is a populist, and I really could see him actually being okay when described, especially from an economic perspective. The UBI. Don't forget, he won because he convinced the forgotten man and woman, especially in the industrialized Midwest and the Rust Belt, that he had remembered them. And the UBI could wildly serve that forgotten men and women. It wasn't racism that elected Donald Trump. It was people. And a populist wants to help people in order to get reelected. And I actually could see Donald Trump supporting the UBI. I don't know how he would be on some of the other things. I'm sure it would require a discussion. But his flagship proposal, at least, I could see him supporting. I could even see him supporting some of the basic gun control things. Donald Trump has spoken out against the NRA a couple of times and said there needs to be a smarter way of approaching guns. And I also think that he would be a big proponent of a lot of his climate ideas. Donald Trump would be for the energy proposals of Andrew Yang, especially in terms of nuclear power. And it was Donald Trump that said, yeah, hey, we need to help the environment. We need conservation. We need to be environmentally sensitive. But the Paris Accord is a joke. And give me a better Paris Accord and you'll sign it on day one. I actually think he would be okay with the environmental proposals as well. I actually think they'd have a lot more in common than not. It's their temperament, I think, that would be wildly different. Donald Trump is a football coach. Okay. Andrew Yang is a techie entrepreneur. I mean, that's two totally different sides of a coin, and that's where I think the difference would be. I don't think the difference would be necessarily on substance and policy. I think the difference would be on temperament. Anyway, please let us know what you guys thought of the show. Show the poll results before we go. Yes, Kevin will definitely show the poll results. Can you flash those up before we get out of here?
Also, hold on. Before I leave, if you guys would like to support the show, if you want to hang out, I'm just going to run a few ads at the end of the stream here for a few minutes. If you want to support the show just by hanging out for a few minutes, that'd be great. If not, whatever. But a few minutes when we're cleaning up here because I want to show you guys something. And what do you know? Independents won. 38% of our voters, 48 voters total, voted they were independents originally. Progressives follow up, libertarian. Liberal, other, and conservative. I think that's interesting to note that people consider themselves. I think that's one of the most interesting things to kind of note from this, I would probably say if we did this poll again, there'd be more than 6% of people who said they voted for Trump, right? So there's a lot of people who say, I voted for Trump, but I don't identify as conservative. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, so we got mostly independents, then progressives came in strong, but libertarian. Wow, that surprises me. Libertarian was the third, and all the others came in after that. So anyway, great live stream, guys. I really enjoyed this. I'm pretty sure Cody did. Let us know what you think. The hats are coming. Those actually, I believe, start getting embroidered Monday, as we said. And we've got the first shipment of those coming in, so you're going to be able to get your own merch. It's going to be pretty fun. We're going to have the army out there. Let us know what you think, and also where you guys are located. We actually, our next straw poll in our next live stream actually should be where these people are located.
Yeah, just name, address, social, those three numbers in the back of your credit card. Those are very important. Include those in the poll.
Yeah, seriously. So anyway, let us know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. This is Problem Solver Politics. See you in the next video.
Keys, smart tender card, so on. Existing order. You can add or remove drinks from the order as simple as this. Once you are ready to pour,
Olives had a major run. Maraschino cherries, major run. No one had a run like limes. No one.